What's going on, traders? How we doing? Who's ready to wrap up the week today? I'm ready to get after it, team. And boy, oh boy, like always, it's a fast market right now. A lot of stocks moving around as we get some important data to come in here. And I'm in a penny stock like always, right? Stuck in one right now. I'm in the green, guys. I was up bigger this morning. I was up closer towards 220s. Now just up a little bit here, about $100 on this BENF. Just taking a look at it to see if I'm going to hang on here. I've been in since 214, looking to see if we can get another leg up. But if it breaks this 264s, I got to take the money and run here. So ready to get out if I need to, guys. Like always in the pre-market, don't have a stop place. So just need to keep a watch on this to see if this can get back up towards the $3, towards the bell. Let's take a look at the SPY and the data that's coming in right now, guys. It just came in just a second ago. We got non-farm payrolls that come in at 142,000 versus 164. Unemployment rate for August at 4.2 versus a 4.2 estimate, 4.3 prior. So a step down in unemployment. That's actually a good outlook there. Participation rate at 62.7. I said it on the playbook. I put it out this morning, guys. I talked about how I expected upside action off of this, and I expected Tesla to make a move to the upside. Look at Tesla make a nice little push there. NVIDIA pushing strong. So this actually means a short on the VIXI today is in play. And the big part of this is that I thought it would shake a little bit of that job concern, right? The uncertainty is at its highest right now. This is when you can see things get knocked down and make a big boom to the upside. So NVIDIA already to 107. Could see that getting towards 111 today. A lot of positive outlook is going to be pushing off of this. So we're going to be looking to see if we can get some pullbacks here. And you can even play it in the pre-market. So any pullback towards 29 right here on SOXL definitely makes sense for me. If you guys see that pullback, let me know. Yell at me, guys. We'll get to the sunrise report in just a second. There's a lot going on right now, and the movement is going to be fast. So, hey, we're here to make money in the first place, right? Like that's always my concern. I'm here to make some money. I always want to give you guys information, but at the end of the day, money's money, guys, and stocks are moving right now, guys. So take a look at the action out there. We'll see if this can continue to lift through the 29.75s, pushing to that next level. Right now, I need to pay attention to BENF. It's back towards 267s. Just keeping a really close eye on this, guys, because it could crack at any moment, and then I have to take the money and run. I definitely want to take at least $100 on this trade, but looking for potentially $300. I got to a point where I was up on this name. I was up like, let's say, and I'm going to give you an exact amount right now. Just give me a second. I was up like 216, 208. So definitely want to take more than that, right? So looking for at least $100, but looking for it to get back through at 260. Maybe it gets to $300 today, and I take a nice big gain on BENF. Of course, yesterday, big win on the VIXI to the upside. Keep scalping that thing, and it's giving me some great gains. So overall, looking great for the week, guys. You're just going to continue to battle. It's been a back and forth week this week. It was Tuesday kind of slightly red from a mistake. Then Wednesday, green. Thursday, green. So, hey, not going to be too mad about that, guys. Continuing to push closer towards, let's say, 500 this week, not 1,000, but hey, not going to be mad. Green is green, and it's looking like what? 4 straight weeks of green here, guys. I'm going to continue pushing towards that next level. I hope you guys out there enjoy me giving you guys the insight, right, of exactly how I trade and how I go about it. So definitely smash the like, hit the comments. Do me the favor. If you're watching this show and you enjoy all the action, enjoy me giving you the insights to my positions, well, smash the like. And if I see so many likes, guys, I have a huge swing trade that just closed that I'm going to tell you guys in just a second here. Smash those likes, guys. We'll take a look at the BENF to see if it keeps going. Let's go to the SPY. SPY climbing towards 549. Going to continue to see that gets a nice lift off. And I was looking to see if maybe some financials would go red. So got to watch that to see what happens today. We'll see if that actually does go red. It started to crack right the last couple of days. You can see XLF really starting to come back down. This could actually raise all tides as we see the SPY start to work its way back. But really, I'm looking more at tech names starting to bounce back today. So if you're seeing some tech names get the lift, well, there you have it. Now we're getting Soxel on a nice little pullback opportunity, right back to below towards the 29s here. So believe it or not, guys, I don't mind taking a trade on this, even in the pre-market. Just want to see a little bit further pullback and maybe come right back after. 29.70s is the kind of move to the upside. So you got potential for $1 to the upside. You just got to understand how you're going about it here. So the way that I'm going to do about it is I'm looking for 100 shares towards the 65 here. And I'm going to put it out there just in case I get a quick little scoop down towards it. And I'll put 68 here. So looking out 28.68 for a little bit of a pullback. Could jump up here towards the 29s and just take a little bit. That's also an opportunity there, right? We did break out from the 28.50 area. So there's the recollection of the 29. So I'm looking for a little slight dip below this, but I might have to just jump up to the 29s there if I want it, right? So we'll see what happens here, guys. I might take 50 shares here below 29s and then look to add some back towards the 28.60s there. Back above the 29s. I'm looking to see if the bid gets above 29s. If the bid can hold 29s, I can throw the bid out at 29 and see if I get a pullback fill. There we go. We're starting to get slightly above that 29 here. Just focusing on Soxel, as I think this is going to make a nice little run today. And it's been hit hard, right, this week. So it's down big, now starting to bounce back. Could get some bounces towards the 28.50s. That's what I'm always keeping in mind on downside action. That's 28.50s easily. So that's why I have right now out there, I have a 68? Yeah, 68. Bid out there. We'll see if I'm able to get some pullback fill. Also keeping an eye on that Ben F, right? I'm in that one right now, guys. And you guys hear it in my voice. There's fast action today, guys. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. We're getting after it today, straight towards the market. We'll get to the sunrise report in just a second. But I saw money being able to be made out there. And you know how I like it. It's all about money first. Let's trade the pool, baby. We're here to make money and get after it, team. Let's go. Let's go. Now getting that pullback here. Let's go. Let's try to get that. I got the one fill there, looking for another fill down towards the 28.50s if it gets down to that level. But if I just take this 60, I'm okay with it. That gives me $100 potential here. Remember, what is one of my rules and one of the habits that I've been improving on? It's not trying to get too big too early. So looking for a little pullback towards that 28.50s. We'll add down there, but not putting the order out until I see it start to come back around, right? So just being patient here, guys. Now there is one name that is dropping that I got to go protect, which is Ben F, right? I'm not letting this drop down. I want to take the $100 for sure. And it's getting to the point where I might take $90 here. So, hey, just got to be careful here as it pulls back to 260s. I'm getting out of this thing, guys. I'm trying to get out right now, guys. It's starting to come down here fast, guys. So I'm getting out. I'm taking the money and running. All right, guys, I'm out of there, guys. I just took the money and ran. I didn't take the 100. I only got 85, guys. But, hey, it's a little small cushion for me on this Soxel trade. Could have continued battling with that BENF, and I'll talk a little bit about that one. I think it was a bad execution on my end and not taking the $200 in the pre-market. I went for the $300 trade and ended up with 85. That's how it goes sometimes, guys. You get a little greedy and you pay the price. So I still made a decent amount of money there, but I really was looking for a bigger gain, right? Was looking for that $300 gain there on BENF. And I let it play out the whole trade, guys. I'll show you guys it here on when I got in, because a lot of traders are going to tell me, oh, no, but Mitch, you've had this for just a little while now, right? No, I mean, look at this, guys. I got back in here at the bottom, at the 190, at the 238s. It broke out to 315s. I should have taken that money and run. Got a little greedy here, looking for the break towards 360s and 350s, ended up taking the 260s off as it starts to come back. Is this completely done? No, on the 15-minute, it's still holding well. But at that point, I want to take that money and run because I'm just pushing it a little bit too far. And that's going to happen sometimes. When you push it, you're going to get less gain sometimes, guys. You got to be willing to accept sometimes just taking the money into the strength, which is what I've been doing as of late, versus taking it into the weakness. Today, I take it into the weakness. and I only get 85 on this. All right, let's go back to the SOXL. Let's go focusing on this because this is the big trade of the day. Got to focus to see if this gets back above the 29s now. Looking good as we start to get back towards 28.95s here. Might take another ad here and just try to add another 100 shares here. Now that we're getting above 29s, I'm looking for 29s on the ad here. Buy. Got to make sure we do this right, guys. Let's see if we can get a dip down back into the 28.90s here. There's the 28.98. So I'm going to look for 28.90s on the pullback, look to add, and then look for it to take out the 29.30s and 29.70s, which was that first pop. Let's see if we get a little bit more pullback here. Taking a swing here. Let's go, team. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's get it going. All right, guys, let's go. Let's go. Let's see what we can find today. Where's the money to be made? We're back up above the 29s there. Didn't get the ad at the 29.90s. It's okay. Now I'm going to lower that just because it could come back and hunt me. Now it's towards the 29.16s. If I don't get the ad, hey, I don't get the ad, guys. You can't be mad about not getting ads sometimes. Now I could step up to the plate here in the 29.20s, but I'd rather step up at 29s on pullbacks. I'll look to see if we get some small pullbacks here, but not a bad little first push. The real level to take is 29.20s. And once that starts to happen, we could really get rocking and rolling here. Of course, I also talked about Tesla on the radar. You can take a look at multiple names today. VIXI on the downside is another thing to look at, guys. Look at the 12.90s. If I could get this back towards 13s, 20s, anywhere near the open, guys, I'm ready to rock and roll on this thing and get short on it this time. And I think it's so important to be able to be flexible. And that's what I've been able to do this week. I've had a short on VIXI. I've had a long on VIXI. Guess what, guys? Today might be the short, right? Just flipping back and forth. Sometimes you got to wear the flip-flops. And I'll give Kramer where some credit is due, right? Kramer is a big flip-flopper, so I always hit him for it. So you know what? Let's give him a little credit for being a flip-flopper sometimes. It definitely helps. All right, past the mini BP today, working and waiting for activation. I love to hear that, man. Congratulations. That's what it's all about. WHLR, was that the stock that gave it for you? What a move on that one. That thing loves to make big moves, guys. So we'll see what happens there. Tesla now taking towards 234s and looking strong, guys, as we go towards 29, 28 here on SOXL. Really glad I bought that pullback there and got it really near the bottom there. So not going to ruin my average. Just going to let this work here, guys. I'm going to cancel my ad. Right now, I'm just looking for this to continue to work, get above that 29.70s, and then start making a run. We could get there towards further than 30s today. So instead of running towards the profit right now, I'm just watching it, looking for that nice expansion move where it just runs away from me. Can look at other names to try to catch some pullback opportunities. One name that will be interesting is a name that had earnings today that got crushed. AVGO, but look how this is coming back, guys. And so this tells me more and more. Yeah, there's some bullish upside there in tech today, and we could see some more run. WHLR, of course, that's a real estate stock. We'll see if this makes them run today, guys. This thing loves to squeeze, but it's really not my type of play. Is there a play here? Yeah. I mean, look at the trend line here, guys. There's definitely a play there to be made, but it's more long if this is your type of play, right? So what I see here is this is kind of like what I call an undercut and rally. So when you get this undercut and you get a lot of volume on that undercut towards 7, you look for it to start holding some whole dollars. So $8 seems like a nice risk area. So you got to be able to risk a good amount here. Maybe it's towards the 850s. Looking for the break above 9 towards the 980s. Then this thing could actually run back towards, let's say, first levels is going to be 10, second levels is going to be 12s, and then you got the move towards 14 and 15. Really not my type of play. This is a low flow kind of name. It is getting the volume right now, so I'll keep an eye on that, but not feeling too confident. What I am feeling confident about is taking the money in BENF, because look at it now, guys. This is starting to come right back down. So we'll see what happens on this one. Definitely falling. So we'll see what happens there. Just going to keep pushing, guys. Definitely seeing some downside action now starting to come back in. The market's looking great, though, for me. There's 29.38s, 29.40s. SOXL, baby. SOXL today. Let's see if that can keep moving and keep getting the lift, guys. All right, guys. Now it's time to talk a little bit about my swing trade and what I got out there. I'm going to go ahead and I got to repost my playbook today because it's looking great. Look at that long Tesla on the playbook today. Look at that, guys. Look at the breakout. Another one that I talked about on the playbook, Apple. Let's go take a look at it. Let's see how it's moving. Look at the lift off on that. Apple with a nice little push here. Now towards 223s. So this is going to be definitely one that's in play. I could see this starting to recover towards the 227.50s. We'll see what happens in Apple today. Not a bad day to get it started, guys. Up 82, up in another trade. And yeah, it could have had a little bit more. Could have had like 200 today already in my belt. And trust me, a little part of me wants to have that 200. But hey, not going to stress it. Going to keep battling here, guys. You guys in the chat, say hello, guys. This is a great day. We're already getting after it. A lot of trades moving here, guys. So we'll see what happens if Soxal can break that 29.50s, 29.70s to the left-hand side. Just start running through the 30s is what I'm looking for. And then we'll start looking at hourly recovery levels. So the next hourly recovery level is towards like 30.50s. So at this point, that's where I'm looking at. Right here, there is some resistance towards the 29.60 area, but really just looking for this to start climbing above the kind of the 29.20s and start working its way to 30.30s. So after that point, it could run all the way up here, I feel like, towards the 31.16s. So you're talking, what, $2 higher. So at this point, I can just let Soxal work and then eventually use those profits to make some scalps maybe on tech to the upside. I'll be watching some momentum names like Roku that had been recently starting to pull back because the market pulled back, but it was hot, right? Now it could catch momentum again. ARKK, another way to maybe catch some momentum names today. Look at the lift above 44. This has been bottoming down here, so could start to push off of these levels. We'll see what happens there. And defensive names could take a hit today. So those could be on the downside, like PG and other names like that. Energy, of course, we saw how it got really, really hit hard. Now the question is, will solar also get hit hard? And I've been seeing that kind of balancing out. We'll see what happens there. I think we need to get a little bit more information to see what happens there. XLU has been one of the hottest areas. I expect that to continue to keep the move on. Basic materials, will gold make a move? Gold is starting to bounce today. So I'm keeping a close eye on that, guys. I'm watching to see if GOLD can start making a move into the 1980s, start making a run towards the 20s. This could be a small run towards 21, but could get going. It's not a bad move. AU is one that I like that moves a little bit faster. And when it breaks down, it gives you a nice ability to catch a little trend run. We'll see what happens there in AU. Apple overall doing pretty well here, now pushing towards 223.60s. It's looking strong. The pullback held really well here on the 15-minute. You can see here there's a little bit of a trend line where you kind of went right back above it. You came back towards the support of the 221, now taking the next level. Apple looking great here, guys, and that's making me feel really good about Soxal. And of course, you guys know how I put out a playbook every single day on our Twitter. Check out this one, guys. I'm going to throw it up in the chat. Here, do me the favor, guys. We do too good on these playbooks for other traders not to see it. So all you guys watching on X right now, go to our Twitter and retweet our playbook. And right now, I just threw it up in the chat. Anyone out there, if you can do me the favor, you guys appreciate me taking the time to give you guys a playbook, give you guys the sunrise report. Well, hit that tweet, retweet it, tell everybody you can't miss these every morning. Every morning, there's one or two that has been doing great. And this is the hard work that I put in for you guys in the morning. Trust me, I could just be focusing on these penny stock trades and not bringing the value to the stream. But I want to give you guys value. I want to give you guys the ability to learn from the way that I approach the markets. So all you guys got to do is just hit the like, hit the retweets, and let's keep going, team. It's a beautiful morning to start it off, guys. And the real question is, now, will FFIE go to the moon? Just joking with you guys, but you guys know how I like and don't like FFIE. This stock, we'll see what happens. It was moving in the pre-market, got all the way up there towards $7 in the pre-market. We'll see if it ever can recover. Man, it's crazy when this stock moves, but hey, be careful out there. WHLR, we'll see if that can recover. It's already trying to recover that 9. And I talked about how this could move. And on a day like today, where you're seeing the market kind of push to the upside, this one is actually in play. And now you get this kind of undercut look where it's kind of holding the 9 EMA, kind of grinding higher. Just needs a big buy to drive it towards 950s. I'd look for a nice little pop above 9 to then maybe look for a 9 pullback. But that's the way that I like it. I want to see a first reaction and then try to catch it on the pullback. All right, taking a look around, guys. We'll see what else is moving out there. It looks like my trade ideas scanner is running out of time. I need to redo the card on that one. So it looks like my trade idea scanner is not going to be functioning for me today. So I'll just cut these down and we'll use here what I have right here on Trade the Pool, right? So not going to stress. And I could also, if I wanted to, I could use some Benzinga Pro scanners. They have some interesting ones. You know what? Let's use some Benzinga Pro scanners. I don't use those too often. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring one up here in a second. Just give me a second, guys. New window. All right, guys, let's work this up here. Not this beta one. I don't have the scanner to the beta. There it is. Pop out the tool. All right, well, I can do it a different way here. All right, here you go. Just have it. I'm going to go ahead and just, we'll do here the intraday mover one. All right, intraday mover, pre-market movers right now is what I'm looking at here. But definitely, you guys can check out some scanners here that are available to you. I don't know why this is giving me some issues when I pop it out. But here you guys see it, guys. It's looking pretty decent today. Bolero is a big stock today. We'll take a look at the scanners. Let's go do a little bit of some action here where we can go towards the sunrise report and then we can come back to the market here. Of course, you guys know I'm in SoxL already, and that was a big part. I just wanted to make sure I jumped on that opportunity there. We'll see what happens here with Wheeler if it gets through the 9, but definitely want to just focus in on the bigger stocks today. SoxL, VIXI, already on the breakdown. That didn't even come back to the 13s there. So it came closer towards the 13s. Would love to see a VWAP, but this might just flush down, guys. And it could be back down to 12 and even 1150s today. So I am looking for ways to get in, but I need kind of bounces. So that means I need pullbacks on the Qs, like big pullbacks, to look for those on the VIXI. So if I see big pullbacks on the Qs, I'll look for the VIXI. But if not, I'm just going to look for it to kind of continue to grind higher. I know that I don't like AMD recently, but on a day like today, momentum loves to go to AMD, and you can see it already in that stock. It's getting a nice little boost from this morning. It got a nice little boost, came back towards the 38.20s, then broke out towards 40s. So nice $2 move there, holding the pullback right now and can continue to climb. NVIDIA is one that you want to see it continue to climb and just keep driving, right? I could trade NVIDIA, but really I'm just using it as an indicator now. And you can see the bottoming at around the 105. Yesterday, the washout levels were 107. So if you hold 107 today, I think you're looking good. I think you could get back towards even 112 today. So that gives you still potential on this if you want to trade it, right? It's at 108. I'm thinking maybe potentially $3-4 still available to it. We'll see what happens there. FFIE, will that make a move there? Just looking at the scanners here, Mara getting a little bit of a lift here as the Qs start to push back. Will we get a little bit of a move from CleanSpark and other names, right? Bitcoin has been hit hard as of late, but I'll continue to watch this, guys. Now, I do want to go ahead and celebrate a little bit here, guys. We got to celebrate as Money Mitch, got one of his best trades in the swing account yet. And let's talk a little bit about that. We've been talking about this trade for a while now, guys, and I've been thinking about this for a long time. I'm glad I didn't shy away, and it's a big win this morning, guys. On what stock? On, of course, Macy's. Let's go. Sound that trumpet, sound the alarm, guys. Not a bad move. Taking that money and running here, guys. Not a bad one here. Let it rain, let it rain. This is what I call money bag right here. Take a look at the action, guys. Look at that at the bottom there. Look at the filled account there. You can't be mad when you're going to go ahead and making over $500 on this swing trade. Can't be mad at all, guys. Really nice move here in Macy's, guys. And you guys see the A&F short. That's actually doing well, too, also on the playbook. But 600 shares covered this morning in Macy's at what? 14.75. And look where Macy's is at now. It's almost back to 15. So glad I wasn't greedy and just took the money and ran, right? Got the red day back down towards the support, towards the 15s, and taking that money and running. I was up there towards 1580s, 1575s. Eventually it was around 1576 with 600 shares. You can't go wrong, man. Almost $600 on that trade. I'll take that any day. That's a good money bag in the bag. Let's go, guys. Can't be mad about that. Swing trades doing great. All right, we'll keep battling out there. We're going to bring on a trader in just a second here, guys. It's about 9 a.m. Let me go ahead and just run through the sunrise report, and then I have a great trader to join us today, guys. Scott will be with us in just a second. Let's go ahead. Let's do a quick little sunrise report, and then we'll take a look at the action in the market. We'll bring Scott on. We'll see what trades are out there. Of course, you guys know I'm already long on, of course, the Soxal. I'll continue to watch that here on the sideline here. Let me go ahead and switch back towards the day trade account. I was looking at A&F, and I was like, I got more money than that in Soxal. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well in Soxal right now. We'll continue to watch it. The big level for me is, does it take out 30s here in the pre-market? If not, the pullbacks are still available here. Let's get to the sunrise report and take a look at what's moving this morning. They're going to continue moving, and we'll talk jobs number. There we go. Now internet's being a little bit better. Oh man, Spectrum, I'm going to kill you today, man. It's been 2 or 3 days of struggling internet, but hopefully it comes back, guys. There it is. It's looking good now. Still a little unstable here. I'm trying to close some things to make sure that we have some stability here. But of course, you guys know my programs out here taking a bunch of internet. We'll worry about that later, guys. Let's go ahead. Let's get after it. Let's start the sunrise and see what was moving today. All right, traders, let's talk a little bit about what's going on here. Of course, we'll take a look at the action to see what we find, but a lot of movement in the market today, and a lot of it coming off of the August jobs report. Of course, we talked a little bit about this, and it actually came in a little light. So investors were really kind of bracing for this number, right? And they were thinking on the negative side, right? Would they position their outlook for a cut, right? And another thing that's been on the mindset out there is, what will happen? Will we get a 25 basis point hike or basis point rate cut, or are we going to get a 50 basis point rate cut, right? Those are things that are battling out there right now with the Fed talk. Let's kick things off really with AVGO, because that's really where it was important. And it did get a big hit on the downside, but bouncing back this morning, right? So Broadcom actually shined in their report here. They delivered another quarter of impressive results. Q3 adjusted EPS at $1.24, beating the $1.20 estimate. Sales hit 13.7, surpassing the expectations. The tech giant projected Q4 revenues of $14 billion, largely driven by AI-related products and Ethernet networking and data center accelerators. For full year 24, Broadcom expects AI revenue to be and hit $12 billion. So keep your eyes on that. Its board also approved here a quarterly dividend of 53 cents. And this is going to be payable on September 30th. So if you guys want to get a little dividend, and I tell traders to look at this all the time. So many traders don't get dividends and don't look at these as an ability to maybe get some easy money, right? We'll see what happens here on Broadcom with the AI demand fueling Broadcom's growth. Do you see this as a bounce back today? I definitely see it as a bounce back, and it's already doing that, right? We'll see if it's able to recover all that down hit and it comes right back. Let's get to the next report. We'll talk a little bit past. We'll go past here. We'll go to an interesting one that's been just destroyed. We'll ever see if it can bounce back. But DocuSign, they beat expectations here. DocuSign results exceeded the EPS here at 97 cents versus an 80-cent estimate. Revenues hitting 736 million. The company is expecting Q3 revenues between 743 million and 747, with billings ranging from 710 and 720. Given DocuSign's strong performance and bounce back, we'll see. Is this on the radar for further bounce back? Can this really get going again? I don't think so, guys. But hey, to each his own if you guys like DocuSign. Let's get to an interesting one. And I have to ask the chat, when's the last time you went bowling? Yes, I'm asking about bowling here on the trading stream because Bolero coming in was knocking it out the park numbers here. Q4 sales of 283.9, beating the 274.4 million. The bowling giant raised its full year 25 revenue guidance to 1.2 billion and 1.28, with adjusted EBITDA forecast at 390 million and 430 million. Does Bolero's bullish outlook make it attractive in the consumer leisure sector? I mean, it at least tells me that people are going out. Yeah, leisure is taking a hit, but I mean, at least if we're going to still be going bowling, things aren't that bad, right? We don't got to hide in a cave at least. All right, guys, let's keep going. Let's get to the next report. We'll talk a little bit about UniPath. And UniPath, of course, is a Kathy Wood favorite. I'll tell you guys that at least. So it's in ARKK, that's for sure. It's surging on Q2 as they continue to gain momentum, reporting Q2 adjusted EPS at 4 cents, surpassing the 3-cent estimate. Revenues came in at 316.25 million, well above the forecast. The company expanded its stock repurchase program by 500 million, provided Q3 revenue guidance of 345 million and 350 million. For the full year, UniPath expects the revenues between 1.42 billion and 1.425. So are you bullish on UniPath's growth story? I don't really feel too strong about it, but it is rapidly expanding. And of course, these are like how they go, guys. When you're talking into the healthcare space, it's either going to just continue to like surprise to the upside or it can come crashing right back down. Nothing that I'll be trading today, but UniPath, not a bad number to look at here. And of course, automation coming in here and playing. We'll see what happens there. Let's get to I think that's the last one right there for the sunrise this morning, guys. Of course, we'll be taking a look at all the action. A lot of this is going to be as the Fed meeting approaches, right? That's what the market volatility is bringing. So you get to be thinking about here, what's your playbook to be navigating through these uncertain waters? Well, one of the things on your playbook should just be sticking right here on Trade the Pool, of course. We've been doing an awesome job calling it on the market, taking a look at the action, and today swinging it right back to the upside, going back and forth. You guys see me flip-flopping a lot, and a lot of that is what? The psychology of how traders are coming in the morning and what's actually happening. So the uncertainty was at its highest this morning. Now you give numbers that are a little bit below the numbers. So what does that do? It calms some of the uncertainty, catches the bears off guard, and the bulls start to make the run. Now, will this turn around by the end of the day? It could, because it's the weekend, right? Who was going to be long the weekend? Well, we'll find out. Also, sometimes on Friday, you just get this endless run. We'll find out if that's what we get today. Let's get back to the overall market action. I'll be bringing on my man Scott C in just a second, guys. So definitely smash the like, guys. If you guys have been enjoying us, bringing on some other traders to kind of get some different perspective, right? Because you guys hear from me every single day. But hey, you guys can always learn from other traders. I learn from other traders every single day. So let's get to the action. Let's bring on Scott. How we doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you, Mitch?
I'm doing great, man. Excited to start another day, starting it again in the green. So it's always good with a little cushion, right? But looking to see if we can get some true upside potential today, right? I think that the uncertainty was really high. Everyone was like, starting to get really bearish out there. And then today, not looking too bad on the jobs number, right? And I think that too many people freak out on these economic data points. But hey, a little bounce back.
Yeah, with all that information, sometimes it's good to know, but I'll tell you what, once you do your back testing, those numbers don't matter at all because you have a plan every day. You go in, you execute, and doing this back testing is key to being successful in trading.
1000%. And we're going to talk a little bit more about backtesting today, guys. So stick around, guys. We'll be taking a look into analyzing strategies. And there's nothing more than I talk about is that if you really want to make a step up in your trading, a lot of it is doing the hard work outside of trading, outside of the market, right? And that's all on one word. Data, 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 guys. And that's what it's all about, guys. So if you're not taking your data and you're not taking that type of approach, yet you're not winning and looking back at it being like, well, why am I not winning? Well, a lot of that is, man, you're not doing the hard work.
Exactly. Right? And I fall into the same trap. I trade because that's fun and that's exciting. But I'll tell you what, the data analysis can be just as much fun and just as exciting. So I'm excited to show you a few tools.
Yeah, definitely. We can go ahead and we can talk all about that here, guys. If you want to go ahead and take a look at some of that action before we get to the market, we could do that too, Scott. It's close to 9:10. So, of course, we'll be kind of moving back and forth. But let me know if you want. And feel free if you want to share a screen, get something ready, you can go ahead and do so. All right.
Hey, Mitch, your startup and running through all this is really important. Let's go ahead and get to a point where it's comfortable for the show. I'm ready.
Awesome.
Anytime.
Sounds great. Sounds great, guys. And you guys out there, if you guys have questions on any of this, right? Backtesting, data, hey, think about it, guys, and drop in those questions throughout the trading stream. We'll try to catch them. And like always, what it's all about is trying to make that step up, right? If you're trying to learn and maybe take an approach, maybe you're a new trader and you've never even heard of backtesting, well, definitely ask some questions, drop them up there in the comments. Let's go take a look back into the market. Of course, we got the reaction from the jobs number and it was straight up, right? Then we got this quick little pullback. Now we're starting to hold the range closer towards the open. So starting to take a look here to see if the Qs want to lead, right? Because if there's anything that I feel is going to bounce back strong, it's going to be the tech names. And that's why I kind of been focusing more on the Qs lately than the SPY. The SPY, of course, is going to include more of your other kind of bigger names. You're going to have more of your kind of retail in there that could be kind of giving the push. Like look at Lulu up 3.56%. So that's a different area, right? Different side. And that makes me feel a little bit comfortable that I took my money in Macy's today because I'm seeing some department stores and things like that start to get a little lift there. Anything that's been kind of really down hit hard lately could get a nice little bounce back on a day like today. I know I'm not the biggest fan of SMCI because I feel like there's just too much concern and risk on this, but this is the name that could push today. Talked about how AMD could push. That's already getting a nice little pullback. So we'll look to see if we get some pullbacks towards the VWAPs. Those are always great opportunities. Right now, I see the market just kind of holding up here at the top end of the range. You can see the same thing in the Qs and SOXL. So we'll look to see what happens there. AVGO, of course, a bounce back today. Look at that. That's not at least not a bad bounce back since this morning, since about 5 in the morning. You're bouncing back about 5%. But remember, this was hit down all the way about 11, close to 12%. In the pre-market. We'll see if this actually starts to come back through that 144. It's not a bad one to watch. Of course, Tesla's on my radar. That's up to 234s. I talked about yesterday how I was looking to see if we'd get back down towards the 220s. We didn't get nowhere near that, right? And so that just tells me more and more. There's some strength there now as Tesla starts to prop for this gap zone. There's a nice little gap zone that it could go towards like 246. We'll see if we can make a move there. Any stocks on your radar today, Scott? Anything you're looking for?
Absolutely. So I almost exclusively trade NVIDIA because that's the one I backtested. And I'll tell you what, I've got two strategies that for the past month, you could have been funded twice, or the past 3 months, you could have been funded twice on. And if I just would have followed these strategies, we would have had lots of people funded already, guaranteed.
Hands up, Scott. Hands up. You're gonna have to tell me what's going on there because that sounds good to me, man.
Super easy, super systematic, and you just gotta know what's going on in the market and saying, "Yep, this is my market. I'm gonna trade."
Love to hear it, man. And I think that that's so important, guys. And really, I find that sometimes like a lot of traders are looking for answers, but not willing to do the hard work to get the answers. So it looks like Scott, at least for the time being, right, seems like he has some edge, right? And that's all what we're looking for, right?
I think so, yeah. And it's just really, I've done thousands of back tests on lots of different tickers, and you have to know where the market's at. Is it ranging? Is it trending up, or is it trending down? And once you've identified that, then you can put the strategy in place, and boom, you're funded or you're making money. Easy, no stress.
Yeah, and 1000% agree with that, man, because each strategy is going to come in and out of favor, right? Notice at some point, it's going to come out of favor, and that has a lot to do with what you just mentioned, the market environment, right? And so sometimes your strategy can actually come out of favor because the market environment doesn't support it, right? But there's some strategies that give it the real benefit, and even like, let's say day trading, right? Momentum, right? So like days like today where I'm seeing quick rips, I like VWAP pullbacks to buy. Like a lot of traders look at this kind of strategy, and things like this I think are so important, right? Because then now you're combining variables into your strategic approach.
Yeah, so today I'm looking at NVIDIA, and it's in this few day range where I think it's kind of ranging, and it's not trending up and it's not trending down, but I think it's going to be flat. It's going to break out. I don't know when it's going to break out, but I think we're ranging right now. So it's like, maybe I won't trade today.
Yeah, I think we're in like kind of an hourly range. I look at a lot of hourly charts a lot of the times, and I'm always looking for pop backs to hourly ranges to look to see if we fade off of them, right? And so
that's exactly where we're at, right on that hourly range. And I don't know, is it going to go up from here, or is it going to go down from here? I don't know, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, exactly. And I can see it there a couple days. The last 2 days, we were looking to see if it get above the 109.70 area. And you can see we hit it like right on the head, the 109.65, 109.99, didn't get to the 110, 109.79. So that's your resistance, right? Right above it, right? And so now I'm looking to see if we clear back. Once we clear that, the next level up is towards the 111s. That's why a little part of me is saying like potentially NVIDIA has an ability to get towards 112 today. Does that mean that it's going to completely come back to, let's say, 130s? I wish I could say that, because if not, I'd be long it. But the truth is I'm just looking to see if it can break that hourly range today. That's going to be a good sign that the bulls have control in the semiconductor space and that NVIDIA is pushing, right? So combination there, right? So a lot of what I've been using NVIDIA is as an indicator for overall semiconductors. And you don't have to do this all the time. But when one name's such in the limelight and such a focus by investors and such a focus, let's say, by the media, so it creates kind of more a correlation that's higher than probably even the Qs, right? So when NVIDIA is ticking down right now, the Qs are probably following it. And then,
because NVIDIA is the strongest of the strong, right? Or has been. Is it going to continue to be so or not? And
and what do they call that in kind of like, your technical analyst kind of mentality, right? That's kind of like the beta of the stock, right? The beta of the stock right now, the volatility in this stock is so high compared to other stocks, and that creates momentum also, right? And that's why we get these big swings where this can go easily, $4, $5, $6. So we'll see what happens. One thing I can clearly see is that we've had opportunities to buy off of the 105 multiple times this week. So if you did buy at that 105, 106 range, you're feeling pretty confident today. So that's where I always think about things in how did the bulls look at it? How did the bears look at it? And I think it's very important to think about things on both sides, right? So back through that 105, the bears are going to be jumping in the streets thinking that they got this, right? Back through, let's say, 112s, the bulls could see some bottoming action here. A lot of like kind of bodies below this, which gives them a little bit of support to see this start to climb a little bit, especially when you're starting to see like kind of the Qs bounce a little bit today. And this is just one of those days where I feel we can get back here on the daily ranges for the Qs. Let's say back to 465s, get to 466 today, and you're feeling really good about some tech names. So that's what I'll be watching. Hourly range gets us closer towards like the 464s. I can see like 466 in play, get to that next level, start to climb back some of the concern that was earlier in the week, right? We had 1-2 red days, I'll consider that. And yesterday, kind of a break-even day. It just didn't go nowhere. All right, let's take a look in the chat. What's up out there, Mustafa? Hope you're doing good, my friend. Keep getting after it. Those golden rules, man. Golden rules. Let's keep taking a look at it. Par, what are you taking a look at? Kava, Chewy. Man, you're You're all over the place today. Meta, Tesla, Path. I can't blame you, man. There's a lot of trades out there to be made today. Kava daily to watch. Let's see. I haven't seen Kava in a little while. I've never actually ate at Kava. I've seen them, but every time I saw them, they were pretty empty. And I was like, man, that's not Chipotle. But hey, that's just what I see, right? The eye test, right? I used to look at that in college, and I was like, man, you need to buy some Chipotle stock. I should have been buying some Chipotle stock when I was in college.
Chipotle's been running for a long time. It's been a good stock.
Yeah, man. And if you look back on it as an investor outlook, I mean, just look at that thing, man. That thing's a monster, guys. Absolute monster. I remember when I was looking at this thing early on in its career, and I mean, to think about that, I mean, of course, this is split adjusted, but you could have been having this at like $10, $15, and now it trades at 50s. I mean, that's ridiculous. I compare that to like kind of the auto ones like O'Reilly and are those. I mean, if you work at O'Reilly's, take your stock options that they give you, man, because, man, look at that stock, man. Scott, now that is a backtesting love of a type of stock, because this thing, every time it's hit like the 50 moving average, it goes right back up.
Yeah, these are great long-term trades, great for retirement accounts. There's a few stocks, like Sherwin-Williams, O'Reilly, I think the other car one, AutoZone. Some of these just keep going, and they just go. And you know what? I learned about those in real estate. Like Walgreens isn't that great anymore, but Walgreens in real estate, man, that was like those are coupon punchers. They'd buy that real estate and just sit there and it just grows, Yeah. And these stocks are just like that. They just keep growing and growing. They've got great management team. They've got a great product. They're in an industry that is necessary and needed, and they just go. They're not great for day trading, but swing trading, I don't know. I haven't tried swing trading, but retirement accounts, oh my gosh, they're fantastic.
Yeah. I talk about those all the time, right? There's a lot of plays like that. Look at this one. Look at Booking Holdings. It's an expensive name, right? It's definitely more of an investment opportunity, but I mean, hey, it keeps winning, right? So
the thing is, if you know the signals on the day trading, long-term investment is just taking just expanding that out and saying, oh my gosh, look where we're at. This is an opportunity to buy now. And we've got the signals, the signals, and you could just let it go. You buy and then sell when it hits. It's just on a longer time frame. But this day trading really is going to help your long-term portfolio for your retirement as well. If you just take a small percentage, maybe 10% of that, and play with it. The rest of it should just be in some, equity, some ETFs, S&P 500, maybe some
just
bonds.
Separate it out. Yep. I always think
but this day trading is going to help your retirement account a lot.
100%. And what I think it helps is that, like I always say, you'll hear from a lot of investors out there, advisors, right? They'll say put 10% of your income into ETFs, right? Index weighted ETFs, right? And then you'll hear that mentality, but when do I get in? You didn't tell me when to get in. You just told me to take the money. And if you don't give me the actual insight of when to get in, I could just be getting in at the top all the time and just getting wrecked every moment I put the money in and just get run over. So I think that's where it really comes in. That's where you can use your day trading abilities to look for pullbacks. It's when you can use your swing trading abilities to get a better investment. So I always say it works backwards, right? The day trading helps the swing trading. The swing trading helps the investment, because that's what really helps me. And if there's anything that I've learned and made big moves on, it's like the Macy's trade, right? That I let the market work in my favor. That's what swing trades are really good at. It's letting the momentum of the market do the heavy lifting. And I think that is very hard to do in day trading. Sometimes, it's so fast. But in swing trading, you can actually get to a point where the stock's just working in your favor, and you're not so stressed out. You're just watching the net P&L just continue to rise. And I mean, that's never a negative thing, right?
You say this all the time, let the market do the work, right? And I've got, when we get a chance, I want to show you and everybody else how this back testing can let the market do the work, because these are easy. It's one trade a day. And, and anybody that says guaranteed, just run for the hills, right? Anybody that says this is guaranteed, just run for the hills, get away from it.
No. I'm 100% accurate, Scott.
But I'll tell you what, the strategy eliminates the stress, and it's one trade, in and out, and you're letting the momentum do the work. You're letting the market work for you. So when you get a chance, I'd love to share my screen, show you my NVIDIA. It's just 2 simple setups, and we could look at it, how it's set up, what tools I'm using. I'm excited. Today's going to be a great day.
Let's do it. Feel free, Scott. Whenever you want, you can always have this screen shared already ready to go, and then I can pop it up at any moment. We did get Tim in the back to join us, so let's bring him in at least. We're going to have a nice little trio today, guys. You guys smash the like. Can't be mad when we have a nice little trio. What's up out there, Tim? How we doing?
Hey, good. I'm still getting my brain rolling this morning, but you guys are full of fire and vinegar, whatever the expression is. But yeah, looking like a good morning here.
We brought
fire and vinegar, baby.
Hey, bring out your salt and vinegar tips. We're ready.
I got so excited, I poured my drink out on the desk. But yeah, no, we had the non-farm payrolls. So in the Discord, we were just all kind of talking about that.
Love to hear it, man. Hey, if you guys aren't keeping up with the Discord, definitely keep up with it, guys. It's one of the best ways for you guys to not only just talk about trading while you're here, right, on the show, but you guys can talk trading all day long. Tim's always there, guys, giving you guys abilities to not only learn from, the market action, but learn from different things, like even a book club, things like that, right? I think there's nothing better than just continuing to learn, guys, whichever way that may be. It might be the psychological aspects to gain more emotional intelligence. Maybe it's just that, right? Well, tune in, guys, like always. All right,
hey,
Scott.
On Monday and Thursday, I also do the journaling sessions. So you can come in, you can share what you've done, what you've not done. That's 30 minutes after the market, so you can journal. And then after you're done journaling, come share it with us.
You can't get better than that, guys. Right here,
on
Trade
Discord.
The Pool, guys. Smash the like, hit the subscribe. And if you're on Twitter and for some reason you don't have our Discord, well, just hit the comments there. Let us know. You want it. We'll get the link up there for you guys. Like always, let's keep getting after it. Let's take a look here at the charting action. And Scott, I'll put you up here. We can talk a little bit about what you're seeing maybe in NVIDIA. What's the setup here? What are you looking at?
You bet. So this is Trend Spider. It's one of those tools that you can get for free when you sign up with Trade the Pool. They'll give you a month of access. And this is just the most phenomenal tool I've ever found. I'm just going to highlight what I've done with the back testing. So down here, you go ahead and you put in some simple or complex criteria. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to enter the market. We're looking at the 15-minute candle up here. You're going to go ahead. You're going to enter the market. You know what? I'll be really brief, but we'll jump back into this because the market's about to open. But you say, hey, I'm going to go on the 15-minute candle. We're going to open at 9:30 here. And so after the 9:30 candle closes at 9:45, we're going to go ahead and enter. And the last time I want to enter, I don't want to enter any later than 12:30. And then I only want to enter if it's less than the 200 EMA. And so this setting, so up here, we're looking at shorts only, right? And so it's only going to run short. And then I'm going to get out when? 15 minutes before the close. So the 15:30 candle, we're going to close 15 minutes before. And you go ahead and you do that. And these are the results right here. It pulls up, it goes back, it automatically runs through it. Let me go. Let's see here. So right here is when the back testing started. It didn't enter any of those times. Let me go ahead and run it. There we go. So it starts here, and we've only got a 4.2% return on the shorts, but you do the same thing over here on the longs, and you've got, let's see, it'll populate here in a second. Come on. There we go. There we go. And so as it ran up, so you got 2% there, 2% there, 3% there, 1.5% there. And then, like I said, when you're ranging, it's ranging, and so you really don't even want to participate when you're in the range. But you know
I
what?
love
Mark's
that.
about to start. Yeah, we'll go ahead and go over some more of this. But overall,
Love it.
8.1,
Love it, man.
and then that's not enough though. I've got some more to show you, but I'll go ahead.
There you
Mark's
guys. You
about
got
to
the
open,
sneak peek.
so let's-
Sneak peek, guys.
Yeah,
Sneak
you
peek.
got to go into Excel after this because this doesn't tell you how much you're risking. This just says percentages. That doesn't help us any, but it gives us enough information to start doing some more analytics. So go ahead. We're about to open. There we go. Market's
100%. Let's get it, guys. Let's go. Let's go. You guys know how it goes, and sound that old school WWE bell. Let's go. Let's go, guys. All right, guys, let's get after the market today. Guys, be careful out there. Of course, the jobs number coming in here, shaking things up here. I'm still in Soxel, guys. I got in this at 28.68. Just going to look to see if we can hold VWAP right now. We might make a VWAP attempt here. That could also give you attempts for stocks on the pullback, right? Like Tesla, right off the 232 area. NVIDIA off of the pullback towards like maybe 107s. So we'll be looking at that. I know how important that 107 level is for me on NVIDIA. Yesterday, it was trying to like use that as like the washout level. So I'm actually going to see if that is used as the support level today. And a big part of that is just looking at price action, right? That's the only way you can tell that. But yeah, we'll see what happens here in NVIDIA. Can it take the 110s today? VIXI is also, of course, in play, guys. I talked about how that could go to 1250s, guys. It's hitting 1250s already. It's at 1254. So the moment that the news came in, this was up there towards 1350s. Imagine. I mean, I've been making awesome trades on this VIXI. Awesome scalps, man. I gotta say it. It's at the point where I'm like, man, I'm starting to get a little greedy on this thing because it's too easy sometimes. And the big part is it trades symmetrically. I love stocks that trade repeatable patterns. Those are when you can really backtest it, right, Scott?
Absolutely.
Repeatable stocks that make repeatable patterns are going to be the easiest to test, right? That's just what I can tell you guys. All right, guys,
to
coming
repeatable
back.
patterns. You just got to know what it is.
Yeah, and some do it easier than others. That's what I'll say. Some do it like more consistently. So like there's certain stocks that I'll find on the daily, I see flags all the time and then they hold all the time, right? And then there's some stocks that are super range bound. Like I haven't traded this in a long time, but Overstock was a stock for a long time that I used to make great long-term swings on because the range on these things are monstrous. It goes from like, $10, $20, $30 range.
Yeah, that's the key, is looking for those ranges for this day trading. You got to have range or else it's not worth trading them.
100%, guys. Getting this pullback here in Soxel, it just hit the VWAP and now bouncing off of it. I'm at the point where I'm like a little mix in it, just looking to see what happens here. I definitely want to have a position in Soxel, but it is on the pullback here. Going to get me into the red a little bit here as it pulls back. I'm looking for an ad here. Tesla down towards 228. I think this is just trying to wash out some of the bulls from this morning's action. So I'll be looking to see if it can catch here. The jobs number wasn't bad, at least. That's for sure.
142K, right?
Yeah, it wasn't a bad number at all. And with the uncertainty out there, I don't think it calls for concern for the jobs number. Recession concerns are still out there, of course, but the big thing they're also looking at is treasury yields. So keep an eye on the TLT today as another signal to kind of watch to see if that recovers 100. In the pre-market, it was up all the way as high as 160.
Yeah, I saw an alert this morning. It was saying that the 10-year is the lowest it's been in, I forget what it said, quite some time. And it said the ratio between the 10-year gilt and the treasury 10-year is the highest. So let me see if I can pull this up, actually. I don't follow bonds nearly enough. It's way too... it's a U.S. Treasury 10-year yields fall to 3.657, lowest since June 2023. Not that long. But UK 10-year gilts now yield 21 BPS over U.S. 10-year, biggest spread in a year. So it's not like a decade time frame, but significant.
Trying to work back towards the upside here in Soxel. I'm going to go ahead and probably add here. All right, just added there another 100 shares, guys. Got 28.66 here. Looking for that kind of low that we just made there at 28.40s to hold now.
Yeah, so if you're looking at today's strategy right now, we're looking, we're on the video. We're still waiting. We're not getting in until 15 minutes after. You got to, if you back test something, you have to be absolutely exact in what you back tested, or else it's going to change.
Yeah.
And so you've got to either, anyways. So if you're looking at NVIDIA today and you want to follow that strategy, you got to wait. You got to be patient, and that's hard to do for me.
Oh, that's for sure, man. That's hard to do for many traders. Not just you, my friend. All right.
But on the video, you're looking.
Back.
Yep, on the video, you're looking right now. We're above that. Well, let's see. I've got it on the wrong candles because I'm doing some other stuff. But right now, we are below the 200 EMA. We're kind of right at it on the 15-minute candle. So we don't know if we're going to be long or short until that 15-minute candle closes.
All right, trying to add to SoxL here. All right, guys, just added there at the 60s as it's pulled back. It got there close to the 29 break, so I'm giving it the chance now for the 29 break. So you'll see SoxL right here, guys, and you see my position.
A strong V on oil here, incidentally.
Apple straight up is another one that I like today, guys. Apple's actually done well out the gates. It had a very small pullback. So when a stock has a small pullback on a day where, like, let's say Tesla did a bigger pullback, I actually like more the Apple stock right there, holding well. SPY upside there, looking good. So looking good now. I'm trying to maybe even add on the 29 break of SoxL. Looking good here, guys. Now let's see if we really start to get another drive in tech. Tesla's still on the pullback. NVIDIA now back towards the 107.20. So I talked about how that 107 is an important level. We bounced off of it once. We're testing it again here.
Yeah, for me on the video, I've got to go above 111 really to be out of my buyer pool range. And so my numbers are a little bit different, but same idea.
Getting that test here, guys. Test on SoxL definitely dropping fast here, guys. So look to see if we get some bounce, but right now it's not looking good. Little fake out to the downside washout here. 28.20s should be holding here, and that's the touch right there, guys. So just got to be careful here. After that 28.20s, you get the 28 washout. So let's see if that can hold here. Then start to mix its way back to 28.80s. There's 28.16s definitely getting hit here, guys. About to get out through the 28s. Just got to wash it here, guys. At least I have a nice little cushion, so probably going to be down about $100 if I get hit on this one. There it goes back to 28.10s here. We'll see if it bounces off that. Seeing the Qs take down towards 458, so should see a nice spike in the VIXY soon. Gold selling also.
Yep. That 8:30 had a pop, and then
one that is I'll be watching a little bit later today is BENF. Of course, I've traded that one in the morning. I was able to make a nice gain, just not the biggest gain, but we'll keep that in watch. It's a penny stock still in play. Just get attempted washout here through the 28s. It's about to hit there. There it hits, guys. And now I'm going to look to see if it's just a wick here, back through 28s. If not, I'm just getting out. There's a bounce back above 28s. I kind of wanted to see that. Now I'm looking to see if we start making our way back to VWAP. Not holding well there. There's a downside break attempt. Tesla's on the wash, man. Tesla's dragging the Qs.
Yeah, still not below that pre-market low. It's just hanging out there, but another 5 points to the downside.
Yeah, risking too much here, guys.
Of a nice gap. Takes you to the top of a nice gap, which will take you down another point. So.
Yeah, I'm risking a little too much here. I can already tell, just at least from my perspective, right, is that I'm pushing it a little bit too much. 250s, 260s on the loss here. Of course, I have the 80s in the cushion, so that helps. But at the same time, I can already admit to it, right? And got to know that, right? I talk about how on ads, I want to be adding in the green. I did get that opportunity, but then I put the risk too high too quickly. This should have been a stop out quickly towards 2840s and then reassessing here.
You know, sometimes I lie to myself. I don't know if you guys ever do, but it's like, oh, this is what the chart's saying. This is what's going on. I'm fine. Scott. I'm just fine.
Nah, man.
You guys are perfect, right?
That's that real way to get wrecked, right? Right now, my stop didn't even trigger there because I was in an invalid price there. So that's not a good thing.
Oh my goodness!
Wow, the video's just dropping.
Dang, I'm getting wrecked right now, guys. All right, just got to get out, guys. I'm out. I took a big beating there, guys. Down 289 now when I was up 80. So definitely lost there. Biggest loss in the last month. So just to kind of put it in perspective, right? Definitely way too pushy there. Should have got out there at the 2840s. That was my level. It washed through, looked for the 28 bounced, and should have got out there at the 28. So, hey, it is what it is. Got to go ahead and shake it. Got caught there at the gates today, guys, and that's going to cost me, guys. That doesn't put me down red in the week, but it does put the pressure down now towards where another red trade could get me close to break even week. And, you know, that's never fun. But, hey, at the end of the day, it's been a good month, so not going to be frustrated about this. Just got to go ahead and look to bounce back, not get the 301 trade, because that's the easiest way to get the trade right back. And then I'm just playing revenge here. So I'll look to see if I can make a nice trade here and bounce back, but definitely wasn't expecting this washout at the gates. I was expecting it to kind of push out the gates. And the big part is NVIDIA didn't hold that 107. That should have been my signal to get out.
You know, it's so important to get out. When I do my journaling, my worst days, all of my red days are the worst days. Like, it's $200 and $300 losses on a $20,000 account, and that is not acceptable. So kudos to you for getting out before it went too far, Mitch.
Oh, 100%. And no, it should have been like a 270, right? This is a complete slippage move, right? When it slipped through the 28s there, I had my stop placed at 2780s, but it was invalid because it was already through that level. So, you know what I mean? Like,
was this a stop? Was this a stop limit, or you said you had it already placed because it should have executed?
So the way it is like this, guys. A lot of the times, so I try to hide my hand, right? A lot of the times, right? So what I'm doing here is essentially holding it near the levels where I want to let it go. So, so what that's the way that I approach it, so I don't show my hand, right? I talked about this in poker, right? Kind of like that, right? So the perspective is that I start putting it out there immediately. I even put it out there like as soon as I starts to get near my level, but I'm holding it right underneath it and not releasing the click, holding the click, holding it to the level and ready to let it go. So all I need to do is let go of the click and then it lets it in, right? But if I'm holding it, essentially the computers don't know where I'm putting it, right? And so that's my way of not showing my hand, but still having the stop loss ready to go. Right. So, and that's another way to go about it.
Yep. One trick you can do. So I've definitely done that, but one thing, this trackball here, great trackball, but it's kind of funny. Notoriously, the micro switches sort of get a little flaky, so you can find those kind of letting go when you didn't mean it. But one thing you can do in the Trade the Pool platform is if you use the alerts, you could actually set it up. and a little bit more flexibly than the normal stops too. You can say, hey, if the last price or the bid or the ask, you can even do it on volume, but you can say if it goes past this trigger, then put in my stop order then. So that might be a thing you could do where, as long as you know, it's basically a market if touched kind, or a stop if touched, I guess.
Yeah, you guys are way more disciplined than I am. If I don't have a hard stop in, I'm like, oh no, it's gonna reverse. It's gonna reverse. It's gonna reverse. Ah, I'm down 300.
Well, that's the advantage of doing it. Then is it removes the it removes that how do you put it? Yeah, exactly, that hopium kind of swilling the hopium.
Yeah.
But
having that
and you can also use that too, where you're not sure if it'll.
Another thing to think about too is that really I have like a golden rule that I didn't follow by on this one. So Mustafa, hit me later. Don't worry. You can hit me later, my friend. So one of my golden rules is if you start to get to a point where you're up like a decent amount on a position. At one point I had 100 shares, right, at the 2860s. This was up there towards like 2950s, tapping, looking like it was going to break the 2970s. But at that point it looked like perfect position, right? At that point, right? So at that point, what I need to establish is a stop loss on break even. Just literally drop it. Because at that point, you can't lose on the position towards the open, right? And so if it does break the 2970s and just keeps running, well, it just keeps running anyways. But if it comes back, get out, break even, lets me reassess and get back in at no loss. Essentially zero risk at that point and that's what you need to do a lot of times as a trader. If you can get to the point where you're at zero risk, there ain't no better trade than that. Let's just be honest.
And the hard thing about doing that is, but what if it goes in my direction and I got stopped out? Well, I'll tell you what, it's okay because there's always another opportunity. But that's the hardest thing is I'm like, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you're losing zero, you're ahead of the game.
And if you need to, you can always use like stop buys on momentum breakouts, pushes, right? So that's another way to look at it, right? So like, let's say on this similar scenario, right, for Soxel, right? If I was looking for a breakout through the 2970s, and that's what I was looking for, right? I could put a stop buy up there, right? So when you come back out for that big breakout, go ahead and give me another fill. So if it comes back, stops me out at 2960, well, I'm out there. But then it turns around and just roars through that level, it's going to give me an entry anyways and give me an ability to get back in the name, right? So I think a lot of times I talk about this as trading like an algo. That's what we want to be doing, guys. We want to trade like an algo and understand that what the algos do, they get in and out, in and out, in and out. Remember what Scott just did on the backtesting, right? He's doing it on more of that daily approach, right? But like 1.8%, 2%, 3%, right? Adding that up, not worrying about I need 20% on one trade. Things like that, guys.
And if you're just looking at it like an algo, like you're saying, if this, then that, if this, then that, if this, then that. That's all the algos do. It's just if this price, then this, if this price, then this. And I think that's brilliant to think of it that way.
Yeah. And Soxel has already recovered, right? So
if we have a second, I'll show off that that little technique there with the alerts here. If you want to see that?
By all means, Tim, you could take the screen if you want. Go ahead, my friend.
Yep. So basically, I've got this target position that I opened, possibly at the top. We'll see.
I'll put you up there.
Just add it on a little bit. And so what I'm going to do is I had my stop here, 151.54. And so I'm just going to say if it, I'll do this here just so it doesn't trigger while I'm demoing it. So I create the alert, right? And then if I go to edit it, I'll just put this as low importance because it'll just be setting me up. And what I do is I say here the action, instead of just notify, place order and notify. And I say, okay, is it on the last? Is it on the bid? Is it on the ask? So I'll say if the bid, just for kicks, is less than or equal to 152.13, then I will actually sell 123. So I could do it at market, or I could even change, so I could use this to make my own stops, like with a little bit more custom trigger, or I can say, hey, you know what, go ahead and put in my stop order here at I'll say 151 57, and you'll see that. So now I don't actually have any stop out there on the market, but
so you're not telling everybody else what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not showing
now, the
your
only
hand.
thing is with Trade the Pool, the way that it works, and that's a good technique if you're just directly on the live market. With Trade the Pool, I think that I'm actually curious if the stop orders get routed or not. Each individual order has the potential of getting routed live or not, so you might already have, that might be another advantage with Trade the Pool. You might already not be showing too much of your hand if you use the platform stops, but either way, yeah, what you can do with alerts is it can be a lot more versatile. Now this, you have to mind your size on this one, so that's something to keep in mind. But
definitely,
yes. So with NVIDIA, we're definitely below that the 15-minute 200 SMA, and so if you're going to enter that, go ahead and make sure that we're 5 minutes late.
And that just triggered. You can see that. And now the thing is, you won't see it on the screen immediately if you just have one instance of this running. If I looked on my phone, I would see that right now, because it just pops up the dialog immediately. But if I hit OK, you can see that it already that stop order was already put in there. So.
All right, guys, looking at Ben F here. Ben F, guys, might go long on this, guys. It's right on the VWAP. It's just recovered it a couple of times here. Looking to see if it can hit it one more time and then recover. And then it should, I'll look for a break back towards above the 260s here. And then seeing if we can get a run towards 3 on BENF. Letting the market kind of play out a little bit here. Especially as the action in Tesla is still a wash. I need to see that change. If I see Tesla take highs, that'll tell me something. But right now, I'm letting it play out. It's 9:51, around 10. Let's see if we get another swing in the market.
Oil's still pushing up too, interestingly.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Wisdom yesterday was laughing because he was in the chat and we were like all like negative oil, and Wisdom's like, all right, so time to long XLE. Isn't that how trading goes a lot of the times, guys? That's exactly how it goes. All right, guys, going for it, guys. Just grabbed a little bit of Ben F there, guys. I got 200 at 65s. I want to add at 50s, but if it doesn't give it to me, hey, let it start running here. Got about 200 there. Just went in it with 100 shares each. Looking at Ben F here. This is the bottom left chart here. I'll throw it up here so you guys can see it. Of course, I got multiple charts. Let me know if you guys want me to go back to the one screen. It's just, with 3 people here all looking at different stocks, I feel like it's messed up to stay on one chart. But you guys out there, if you guys want to change any of these charts, let me know, right? Of course, here's that Ben F trade. I'll show you guys it right here. This is kind of a 15-minute approach, looking for this to come back towards like the $3. The big area for this is the 287. 287 is a daily resistance where I saw a lot of dark pulling kind of getting filled, like kind of an endless offer up there. So we'll see if it gets back to that level. Can we take it out? That's a daily level, 287, that I definitely keep a close eye on. You see it right here on the daily chart. I'll show you it right quickly. See right here, this candle right here. That's where it fights every time. All right, back in the 260s here. Let's see if we can take it and hold VWAP now. Here's a little pullback back towards the 50s and 60s here. This gives me an ability to do an add here at the 55s, but I'm going to wait till it starts to come back through 60 versus adding here at the 55 and then it drops to 48 and I have to get out anyways. So waiting for it to come back to a green candle. Green candle meaning that what it opened on, 264s. So that's what I'll be watching here. See if this goes back to green and then I can add for the break. All right, we'll continue to watch Tesla. A little bounce there. NVIDIA still just dropping. If it can't recover 107, I don't think the market's coming back. There's cues to the downside. That could actually turn the VIXI around right back up. So you're going to have a little bit of mixed noise right now. Apple was staying strong, and even that's starting to come down a little bit.
Yeah, so on NVIDIA, if we drop below the 104, that pre-market low, I believe it's going to run towards that 101.50 range. And then we'll see what happens at that point in time. But that's my analysis.
Yeah, can't blame you on that aspect. All right, so guys, we've cut through the BenF VWAP 3 or 4 times. At that point, I got to respect the lows on the recent 1 minute. So 250 is the risk. All right, what's up out there, guys? What are you guys taking a look at in the chat? Also, like, yeah, XLE, baby.
Yeah, if we can get something from the chat, let's go ahead and do that. But if we have a moment, I've got this Excel spreadsheet, and I know it's boring, but I tell you what, this is where the action's at. Once you do your analysis, your back testing, then you've got to see how you can implement your strategy. So I've got that in there if we have a moment. But
all right.
Let's deal with the people from the chat first.
Yeah, definitely. Trying to catch some comments there right now and looking to see if BenF is going to make the move here. I'm seeing Par out there talking about range on path. He's looking on path, so that's not a bad one there. AVGO is what killed you. Yeah, I mean, the earnings weren't bad, though. AVGO bringing the chips down. Hey, it's how it is, right? The quicker you can get at zero risk trade. I agree, Rando. I do that all the time. I just kind of made a little mistake there today, right? We're not always going to be perfect. Got to be able to shake it, right? You're going to make mistakes as a trader. That's for certain. Now, if you attach yourself to that mistake, that's how you wreck yourself. Don't attach yourself to the emotional reactions from wins or losses, right? That's why I always talk about that we can't let one trade make or break us. In this case, this is a pretty bad loss, right? That's the break us mentality, right? We can't let that happen, right? As traders, let's stay in control. There's an attempt to break out on BenF. I'm going to come to you now. You can take a look a little bit at that spreadsheet. You can explain a little bit more about that, Scott. And then I'll let you guys know if I see anything big moving in the market.
Yeah, so once you've set it up, so you can see here, this is all NVIDIA. And these are the positions that I would have taken: long, 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 short, long, short, long, long, long. And then over here, I've added some to the export. And this is where the important stuff happens. Once you've got that, you've got the export. This says, after I passed 22 candles or close to the end of the day, then the return on it was 2.9, and then the share. So what you've got to do is you've got to say, okay, if I'm going to risk 1.5%, which is what I don't know if I showed that on that first on the setup. So down here are the rules. I'll go ahead and make that bigger so y'all can see it. But not only do we exit at the end of the day, you say, I also want to exit if I hit 1.5% loss. And so 1.5% doesn't tell you how many shares you're going to take. It also doesn't tell you the dollar amount per share you're going to, or the pennies per share. And then also you can take different ways. You can do candles pass, take profits, add stop. TrendSpotter makes it really easy to set these rules up. But if the trade goes against me by 1.5%, then I'm out and I'm done for the day, right? And so back to the spreadsheet.
And 1.5% of the price, or of your account size, or of the trade?
Yeah, so that's the price, because TrendSpotter's only doing the price.
Can you do me a favor? Can you zoom in a little bit on it?
What? You guys can't see my little print on this big screen? Yeah.
Zoom in.
Zoom this. Let's see, where's my zoom at? Control zoom.
Here, I'll make up for you in the meantime.
There you go. We got it. We got the zoom in.
Can you see that
big,
now,
Tim? Yeah, I think that's a little better there. Let me see. I'll put mine full screen so I can see it. There you go. I can read that. What do you guys think about that?
Okay.
And like always, you guys can reach out to Scott to learn a little bit more about this, and feel free to join on the journaling days, right? I think that's where we can definitely do a little bit more deeper dive. If you guys want to take some time outside of trading to talk with Scott, of course, be there, guys.
Mondays and Fridays, Mondays and Thursdays, 4:30 p.m.
Yeah, so 4:30 p.m. is my time. Well, no, it's not. That's market time. It's 2:30 my time.
It's market time. It's the only time.
It's the only time, market time. Yeah, so here we are. That's the thing. It's it's 1.5% of the price, because TrendSpider doesn't know anything about me or what I'm doing. And so it's 1.5% of the price. So I have to go in here and I have to calculate that. So on this day, because the price is, let's go ahead and run over here. The price is $1.12. 1.5% of the price is going to be $1.68. So I'm going to risk $1.68 on that day, and I'm going to risk $200 max for the day. So then I say, how many shares is that? Well, over here, that's 118 shares. So I'll go ahead and do the 118 shares, and that's going to be, I'm going to risk, or I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use 13,000 of my 20,000, and then I'm going to exit on that particular day, the 1362, which give me a $370 gain. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? And so at first, when I ran the spreadsheet, I was only going to say, hey, I'm only risking $100 per day, right? And so if I go ahead and fill that all the way down, what I found was, oh, I've only got $814 at the end of this. Let's see, when did I start? August 13th to September 5th, right, of this time frame. Or that was my first entry anyways. And so I didn't fund the account. So I'm like, well, I'm looking here and I've got this balance running and I'm up. Once I get up, then I can risk a little bit more, right? But here I got up and I never went negative. So I'm like, I could risk a little more on this strategy. So I said, what if I did 200 per day? And when I do that, there I am, a rundown right there. You know, not even the 45 days, nowhere near it after, what is that? 16 trading days, funded at $2,000. Boom. Why in the world would I, if I've tested this and I'm going long and short, and some days, they're straight up losses. Some days I lose the $200, but some days I make $400 and I just let it run almost to the end of the day. The tricky thing is right here, you got a negative 200, then you got 3 days in a row with negative 200, so you got to watch that and make sure you don't go too far in the negative, right? And so you've got to, once you've done the back testing, then you got to customize it to your specific parameters or trade the pools parameters. And so all of a sudden, increasing my risk from the 100 to the 200, making sure that I'm not going in the negative too far, especially with a run of bad days, boom, you're funded.
Hey, sometimes it's not making it hard, team.
It's as simple as possible,
You know what I mean? And Scott's like, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Except now I got to do it, right? That's the hard part.
Yeah, that's the hard part, man. And that's why sometimes I think about things like, let's say, like, for instance, for me, the VIXI has been a really good trading vehicle, right? And so I think about it sometimes. I'm like, well, why the hell am I trading anything else? You know what I mean? Like it's just normal sometimes to think that, right? And a lot of that is the patience needed to be a trader, right? And we talk about it sometimes how, trading maybe the same tickers could help you, things like that, right? Because the truth is that there's an infinite amount of possibilities, and it's really infinite in the market, right?
12,000 tickers you can trade on Trade the Pool, right? Like,
yeah,
I want to trade them all.
Yeah, when we trade everything under the sky, we should be probably doing shows like me. But other than that, man, it's probably not going to help you guys.
And I just want to point out to the traders out there, Mitch is here and he's trying to make it interesting for everybody. So he's got to look at a lot of stuff. But as an individual trader, man, just focus on a few. Yeah,
and I think this is right? Because I even talk about it all the time, guys. Really, where I do better in is higher quality names, like the bigger names. I trade the smaller names, right, to kind of learn from that, right, and learn from the approach. But a lot of that should be what? Risk managed, right? Really low, where I give myself potential to make gains. Like, let's say that Ben F trade, 200 shares versus what a lot of people are trying to trade on that, like 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 shares. That's not going to help me, guys. That's not where my bread and butter is. Of course, swing trading is where I do a lot better in. And so that's where I can take a little bit bigger size swings in the pennies and things like that. But really, higher quality names is where I want to stick to. But I'm also going to be able to cover it all, because one of my favorite things to do is not to be worried about stocks, but sectors and industry. So that's the most important thing, right? That's what I'm really trying to do here, is give you guys edge a lot on my intermarket analysis, they call it, right? And so that's looking inside the market of what sectors and industries are stronger than others. Where's the relative strength, where the rotation is where I really feel retail traders still have edge. If not, you're kind of battling the algorithms, which you could still do, but remember, you're battling computers. So it's going to be very hard.
Yep. And those pairs trades, like, again, if you're in a sector, and this is what I keep trying to remind myself, so often I'll go all in, not necessarily all in on my portfolio or my buying power, but I'll go all in on my how much I'm allocating to that play. And there's no reason not to hedge it, like I could hedge with a sector ETF, or I could hedge with, if I think, for example, Target's strong, like I could apparently I could still short Dollar Tree, and so, again, that's where you can have some edge, because if the whole market turns out to trend in one direction the rest of the day and you had it wrong, well, you close out of your main one and then you can let that hedge keep running, or you can go ahead and add on to that. But
all right, guys, getting after it in the VIXI here, guys. I'm a little bit short right now at the 1295s. I'm looking to maybe add here in the 1305s. Really got to hold towards like 1315s today. Don't want to risk too much, right? And this is pushing it on the day. Sometimes when I get down towards that 300, I just call it a day, right? And so I am pushing it a little bit further, but I've had a good month, right? And I can use some of that cushion to try to push on today. Of course, this is all coming on mainly one loss that Ben F got out there at the 244s. So this is going to be that last swing. A lot of times I do kind of a strike three approach, and that keeps me from over trading, right? And so at this point, I got 2 strikes. I got 1 green. I'm going to take one more approach and see what happens here. The Qs, trying to see what happens here at the bottom, right? Are we going to just continue to just leak all day, or will we make a comeback on the hourly? So the hourly levels tried to undercut that 455, went right to it. 455, you see 454.83s, 455 right on the dot. So I'm looking to see if that 455 on the Qs hold, and we'll see right now. We're going to get that attempt probably down to that level. We went right to it on the 5 minute towards 456.39s just recently. Let's see if it takes that 455 on the downside. If that happens, yeah, you get more leak and Nvidia is probably down further. But I'm also looking at the potential, the risk and return that the hourly goes back on the Qs, and that's 460.50, right? So just the risk and return here is what makes sense for me, and I'll take a trade based on that. Never know where it's going to go.
Hey, Mitch, as we were talking about that risk, something I learned as I was doing this, and I want to say thank you to Trade the Pool for giving me this opportunity to run through and say, hey, I'm learning. I'm relatively new to trading. I'm still figuring things out, but I want to say thanks to Trade the Pool for giving me this opportunity to really dig in. And when I think I have to present, I've got to be certain that what I'm presenting is real, right? And so I dive in, I do a little extra due diligence. And what I learned is, man, I am oversizing all the time, right? Yeah. So when I was playing NVIDIA, I was taking 30, 40 round trip trades every day. And at the first of the day, I'd be conservative because there's a little more swing. But towards the end of the day, I was taking the full 20,000. I was buying 160, 180 shares, and I'm taking that full 20,000. The problem with that is there's not enough room for it to move. But if you look at the spreadsheet, even with taking the $200 of risk, I'm only using 13,000 of that 20,000. If I'm down and I want to trade 2 stocks in a day or 3 stocks in a day, and I only do $100 of risk, I'm only using $6,000 of that $20,000. So, it is so easy when Trade the Pool gives you 20,000 to play with. You try and use it all, right? But
what you don't want to buy? I'll give you more buying power, Scott.
But the key is knowing what your risk is and then going ahead and saying, this is what I'm willing to risk, and this is all I need to buy. Because with that amount of risk, I can fund my account.
Well, I can say it just like this, guys, and I think this is definitely a clip type of moment. They say, with great power comes great responsibility.
As cliche as it is, it's so true.
That's the truth, my friend, guys. When you get that power of that buying power, yeah, it comes with great responsibility, guys. It does.
And the temptation is so big, just to go big, go big, go big.
For
But
sure,
when you go
man.
big, you don't give yourself enough room to be successful. And that,
No,
the back
we got to remember that when you're battling like algorithms and things like this, a lot of times I see these happen all the time. I call them wicks, right? What are wicks? They're tricks. And we found out that tricks are for kids, guys. So don't be getting tricked all the time on big sizing and then getting wicked out and then seeing the body close right where you wanted it to do, right? And why did the wicks happen? Because everybody's looking at that same level. Everyone's sizing up a little bit too big. The stops are more than available for the market makers out there, and they just take the size, and then they just wash you right back out. That happens all the time, team.
We need a rabbit run across the screen for you, Mitch.
Yeah, you know how it goes,
Every
man.
time you get wicked out.
The tricks are for kids, guys. You need a little bunny that comes and takes your money. All right, guys, a couple of attempts to try to break out above that 13.06. I'm going to actually turn towards a different screen here. I'm going to put you up for just a second, Tim, as I switch over my screen here. But just want to go over and give you guys a little bit more perspective of what I'm seeing here in my VIXI trade. I've shown so much of the VIXI trade, so that's why I like to kind of break it down a little bit, because I literally go step by step on this. And so what am I looking at now, right? So of course, this was earlier on. I said, get back to 13.10s. I'll go short on you. Well, we went back to that level. I didn't get short at 13.10s, but now I see 2 attempts to break above this 13.06. Looking to see if we get one more attempt to that level. If not, I think we could break the 12.90s and start heading back towards the lows. Of course, I'm short on this, looking to see if I can get that one more rejection, then heads to the 12.95s, and then I can add again. I like to wait until I get that action back down, because if I add right here and then it just rips to 13.15, all I did was just give it more risk. So looking to see if I can get that cut down back, looking to see if the Qs can hold on to these 455s low and see if Tesla can finally make a move back. That's on the washout move for sure. Hasn't come back to the VWAP. That's a good sign that there's weakness. The Qs did. They came back to the VWAP and rejected that move. So let's see if we can get back to VWAP again. Big levels to watch, guys. We'll see what happens if we get a washout through the 455 here. That's the level to watch. VIXI right on that level, could tap 306, could tap 308s. And then if it goes to 310s and 312s, it's probably because we washed through the 455s on the Qs. And look how it's approaching it right now. Big part of this is also NVIDIA on the hourly candles, right? Look at NVIDIA on the hourly candle. I talked about how it's a good indicator, right? Well, look at this hourly candle right here to the left-hand side. Look how this is holding right now. So that's why I'm trying to do a risk and return bet on this. But this one right here, this 104.12s is holding pretty well. I have 104.14 as the line there, but around 104, if it holds there, it can bounce. It gives you the potential for the 108 move, but wash through the 104s, and then you start to get that leak in the Qs.
Yeah, can I run through my analysis on?
Go for it, my friend.
All of my boxes up. I got the screen.
Putting you up. You're up.
There we go. So this right here, this box is where I believe the daily trading range will occur if it comes down. And then this green box here is the hourly, what I'm watching for the hourly, right? So it came down, and I'm just afraid it's going to range. Like, that's my biggest concern here, is it's going to range in this green box. And I don't know for how many days, but if we go below that range, you know, today's range should come down to here or up to here. And I think it's more likely to come down here because we broke this morning's lows. We also have broke yesterday's lows. So I think it's going to continue running down, possibly. I came in, I traded there. I entered my trade with 60 shares. I'm going to let it run. And if it goes below this, breaks out below it, and we got some good levels to come down to 96 or 97. And so this scared me. I thought about taking a little bit of profit, but I'm like, no, you know what? If I lose my 1.5%, that's okay because the strategy is good. So these are just the 15-minute candles. The market structure is looking good. We're getting lower lows. So I think we're going to continue down, but I don't know. You know, like I said, anybody that guarantees or says this is what's going to happen, run for the hills.
What? You can't listen to my alerts? No, hold on. Let me give you a fax.
let me send you this information here. This information brochure, guaranteed. We'll sign it. You can sign it. Get out of here.
For those traders that are newer traders, they probably never heard of those stories. Back in the days, like let's say like in the .com era and back like before that, literally some traders used to get information by fax. Oh, these are the penny stocks you want to look at today, guys. Can you imagine looking at like your phone with a fax and printout, just printing because traders are sending you alerts? That's just hilarious to me.
Or
guys.
the phone call from the service. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna buy this. It's gonna go through the moon. Then they place their order right where they tell you to buy it.
hey, at least they didn't have to deal with that many algorithms back then, probably, but.
Probably
that's how it is, man. That's why I always say that the free commission trading was never a good move. All we did was let the computers in. But hey, that's how it is, guys. They tried to make it look like it was for retail. Really, it was for the computers. But like, I would rather pay $6 a trade, $10 a trade, $20 a trade than let the algos trade for free.
Free trading, right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, all we did was
what it is.
In.
But that's the reality we're dealing with today, right?
Yep.
So
and that's what you got to know.
It.
No, the only thing you can do is now fight the computers.
Just accept it and say, well, don't fight them. Just ride with them. Say, hey, this is what they're doing.
I'm with that one.
Let's go for a ride, man.
The trend is your friend.
The herd, man. The herd. We all need a herding dog.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, like with the trends, like you can be aggressive if you want, try to anticipate moves, but what you were saying too, like the wicks being tricks, like we were looking over it's from Jayden Zanger, I think was the author that somebody was quoting, but they had some 10 rules that were posted, and so many of them are just about like waiting for confirmation when it comes out, like failing fast, like you said. And then the other thing I think is key is adjusting too. Like keep drawing your trends, keep monitoring it through the day, because you might see another formation or another pattern forming, and you want to figure out, hey, is this going to invalidate my original overall plan? So it's all about staying nimble, right? Like,
yeah, definitely is. It's all about staying nimble, guys, and always keeping yourself in reach. Another thing,
and what you were saying a minute ago about being responsible with the buying power too, like a big part is with what we're talking about today, right, is looking back and seeing how is that performing. Like it's not just backtesting a strategy before you put it into play, but also look at your own performance. I say this all the time, like you can do TA on your P&L, right? And you can see like, hey, if I'm starting to see if I'm losing momentum, you can look into that as something going on, right? And so if you find out, for example, like you were saying earlier, if the market on a certain day, if you don't have a read on it, that's fine. You might not have a read for what's happening that day, but if you keep an eye out and you notice like, hey, my performance today is just way below my baseline, right? Like same thing you would do with any other instrument you might be trading, right? You'd say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be long on this today, right? Take a break, right? Like, or inverse yourself, but that's hard to.
No, don't do that one now. I never agree with that one. I never agree with that one, because then you're killing your own confidence, right?
Yeah, once you start reversing your reverse psychology, man, you're toast. Just get out.
No, just start giving the money to someone else. No, but I'm with you, Tim. It's definitely important, guys. Like, let's say today, 1000% just lost too much on that one trade, right? That's what it is. That's what's putting the pressure on me. And the number one thing that we can't do is do that, guys, is just start to get on a kind of a move where you potentially wipe out multiple days of your work, right? That's the number one thing that kills traders. And I think that it's going to happen. You're going to have that trade that happens. Now, what happens a lot of the times after that is how do you bounce back and what do you do after that? Majority of traders, they go on tilt. Let's be honest. They go on tilt. They're like, all right, well, I'm getting caught. Well, now I need to go ahead and go 3 times the size.
Hey, martingale works until it doesn't, right?
Yeah. And so I think that's the approach too. Like, let's say for this VIXY trade, I calmed myself down. I wanted to go 1,000 shares really quickly. My body was like, yeah, 1,000 shares, click it, let's go. We're going to get it back. But I said, you know what, Mitch? All right, at least calm it down somewhat. And I cut it back to half of that. I went 500, right? Moments like this I think is what really helps you as a trader is like, you're going to think more than what you probably should be going after. The same way on the greedy side for rewards. Like sometimes I'll be like, I want to take, let's say 1310s and the stock's at like 1305. And I'm like, no, but I want 1310. No, I mean, like 1307 is not going to be much difference, right? So just taking the money and running sometimes is also an ability. Why? Because your mind is, and your greed is telling you this level, maybe draw that a little down. You know what I mean? That's what I notice. It's a natural thing for humans to be greedy and to have emotions. So admitting to those moments and taking a little less, let's say, if this is my risk, maybe pulling that up even a little bit higher so I don't get washed out through that risk. All these things are just going to be ways to manage yourself. And that's the number one thing we're doing as traders.
I'm going to give myself a little plug, or everybody a plug for my own show. If you'll put that.
Yeah, do it, my friend. You got it, Scott. There you
were
are.
Just talking about losing everything that you worked for several days to get. Mm-hmm. And we all do it. Well, not everybody. The successful people don't do it. But when you journal it and then you see it, it's like, these are, a $7 day, an $8 loss, 70 on the plus, 89 in the plus, 69 in the plus, 36 in the plus, 110 in the plus, 156 in the plus, minus 200. And then, 90 in the plus, 100 in the plus, minus 200. 75 in the plus, minus 300. 72 in the plus, minus 156. You know what in the world? And then, another 69, then minus 300. I'm back down to zero again, and by journaling it, we all know that, but then we go back and we remember the last win. We forget the last loss. But when you go back and you look at those red days and you go, this cannot happen. And then you see it and then you know it. And that's one of the powers of having a good journaling, whether you do it on an Excel spreadsheet or you purchase software. And again, this is Trader Sync, one of those freebies that Trade the Pool gives you the chance to test out. Yeah. This just gives you a visualization that you go back and you can't trick yourself. I'm the best at tricking myself and saying, oh no, I got this. And this just says, no, you don't got it. Yeah. You don't got it, Scott. You're losing everything that you worked so hard. You got more green days than you have red days, but you're blowing it on those red days.
Yeah. And a lot of that is just going to be trying to find ways to manage yourself, right? Like I talked about the zero risk trade, right? When I had that trade towards a certain level, imagine if I would have just zero risked it. We're not talking about any of this, right? And I think that moments like that is what separates the best, what I call the thriving traders and the just barely profitable traders. And then if we want to go even further, it goes to more the survivor trader, right? There's different traders, right? There's just a straight losing trader. There's a survivor trader. There's just above profit trader, just above, enough to buy lunch. And then there's the thriving traders that are really bringing home the bread. That's what it is, guys. Which group do you want to fall in and how disciplined do you want to be so that you can move to the next level?
And the reality is 90% are in that absolutely losing. And they're there. For me, I'm a visual person. If I see it, that's undisputable, But if I don't see it, I I didn't lose that much. I can make it back.
Yeah.
But I don't. If you'll see, I don't think I have a single red day or green day that's bigger than my red days.
Hands about to get out on me. For me, guys, the pressure's coming on the VIXY right now. I can give it 1 penny here, but it got to be really quickly here. As you see NVIDIA just slowing down here. We're going to get a ramp up in just probably the next 5 minutes here. Let's see what happens, guys. It's 10:24. I could see the ramp happening closer towards 10:30s here, but definitely starting to see the action there. I'm out of the VIXY, guys. I'll take the hit there. I'm not going to get hit harder today. Definitely taking a hit down. And guys, believe it or not, hey, remember how I talked about red month, green month? It's going to be a green month, but it's going to be a red week today, guys. Got to learn it. Got to take it sometimes. And today's one of those days where I'm taking a hit, guys. You guys can see it here. Down 448. Not a good thing. Strike 3. You're out. Strike 3. You're out of here. That's what happens, guys. And that's how it goes, man. And you got to learn from it, right? I was like doing really good. Average losses on the account this week were closer towards what? 87. Average wins around 230s, right? Was doing pretty well. And believe it or not, I actually had more losing trades than winning trades, was still doing in the green. And this is what I think is very important. When you can see that, you know, it's important to be that risk management. But that clearly is what happened today. Hey, put way too much on Soxel and took the hit, right? Got a little confident as I started seeing that go towards the breakout in the pre-market and at the washout at the open. That should have been out, break even, and not pushing it to the next level. And you pay the price. When you make mistakes as a trader, you pay the price, guys. So a lot of times I ask myself, how much pain are you willing to give up, right? That's also the risk side, right? How much pain are you willing to go through in this idea to see if you're right or wrong? We never know we're going to be right or wrong. The only thing we can do is take probability and look into that, right? But the truth is, at the end of the day, you take bets and you abide by your rules, right? In this case, not abiding by my 0 risk rule, and it cost me there, right? So, hey, that's what it's going to be for at least my action today. We can take a look how Scott and Tim are doing here and seeing what they're getting after. But it's a tough day. It's a tough day. Definitely a swing type of day. What are you guys looking at now?
Yeah, I was just going to show you on my screen there. I actually, went ahead and took some time, kind of drew out where things might go, where they might not. And I went ahead and I took my risk off, right? So I'm at 0 because I was looking at it, this has a chance of coming back up here. It's still a negative day, and it might come back up here and then continue down. I don't know. But you know what? If it goes above here, I'm out of 0. And if it doesn't go up here, I can short again. But if I let it go up there while I'm, and I lose that $100, then I got to be done for the day. So I brought that down, and that gives me a chance to trade again if I need to. I'm still within the strategy, right? Because I still plan on shorting, but this takes not just the back testing, but now I'm looking at market structure, and I believe the lower lows are going to prevail today, and even if it goes all the way back up here. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm in the money, so that's good. And if it does bounce up here, I'll be out at 0 and I can go back in.
We'll see what happens, guys. Qs did break that 455, went down to the 453.48. So the leak is on, and it has not been bouncing, guys. And Tesla now down towards 221s, guys. That was up to 235s in the pre-market. So crazy move right back down in Tesla. And that's how Tesla goes, right? The dragon slays some more out there. So just be careful out there, guys. Definitely seeing that move all around out there, guys. And overall in the SPY, now taking down through those lows earlier in the week and really just continuing the downside action. Now you're really getting that leak. Now you're seeing what? A bloody sector and industry outlook out there, guys. Every single sector in the red. Not a bueno thing to see, guys. I talk about sector and industry analysis so much from the open. Look at this. It's just blood. It's just blood out there, guys. So, yeah, if you're a bear, you're singing in the streets today. But if you're a bull, it's not looking good anywhere. And sometimes that is the really negative sign to see, right? Because sometimes you want to see at least defensive sector up, right? So like some safety, what they call like the safety trade, right? Some defensive sector kind of getting the lift, right? Let's say like a Procter Gamble getting the lift today. And you can see that's kind of just hanging out there, not even getting the lift either. That is negative. That just shows me more and more how much of a bloody turn this is. And NVIDIA is going to be the sign right there that will also show you guys that the drag is on. And even though the subpoena or whatever, or not subpoena was out there, I thought that potentially maybe that could give the lift back into NVIDIA. Nah, man. I think this AI trade is completely broken now, at least for the short term being. And all those traders are going to start wanting out. And if they start wanting out, they're probably going to want out also of the other big names. So just be careful out there, guys. Google now down to 155. Of course, that has the DOJ concerns that actually got the subpoena. We'll see what happens with that one. But yeah, I'm seeing the leak out there, guys. Look at Microsoft. Pretty good leak there, right? So what's going to save the market now, right? I think that's what you need to be thinking about. If we look at the bigger cap names, they're not looking good today, right? Apple's the only one that's like not a full percent down. But you got NVIDIA now almost 4% down, Google 2%, Amazon 1.5, retracing 1.8 on Meta. Meta actually looks like a good short. I'm not even going to lie. That looks like a good swing short right now. Just taking a quick look. Even a strong name like Eli Lilly is starting to come back, the healthcare names, right? Broadcom, of course, we already know how that got hit on their earnings, even though the earnings were well. And when stocks start going down on
it was just
good
a slight
earnings,
I wouldn't even say a slight miss on guidance. I don't know if they missed, but they just didn't quite hit the analyst target for the next
NVIDIA nailed the analysts. Like they beat, and they still sold out.
This is what I'm saying, because I saw this first, and I put this out on my Twitter immediately when we saw ANF's report. ANF's report was a good report that got hit down, right? And I try to stay objective. Did they beat on expectation? And then they give decent guidance. And if those answers are yes and yes, well, it's not a bad report. I don't care what you tell me, right? Like, price action is price action, but the fundamentals are the fundamentals, right? That doesn't change. The fundamentals were good in NVIDIA's report. It wasn't
great.
It was great, but the stock went down. When stocks start going down on good reports, it's a good sign that we're near the top. I've seen this in my trading career, right? And ANF was a clear example. And I put it out on my Twitter immediately. Is this going to be what we see in NVIDIA? A good report and down action. Same thing we're seeing now in Broadcom. So even if they kill it, even if they have great numbers, the bar has been set so high here that they just can't reach the bar, guys. They just can't reach it. And that puts worry into what's coming after this, right? Because now the concern is recession, right? That's the concern out there. And that starts to hit now the expectation moving forward. So what I think you'll start to see is maybe even guides down by the big boys, right? Where they start to tell us that what they expected to happen in the next quarter, they're expecting a guide down, because they're going to have to start lowering the bar here to maybe try to put that bar back down at a reachable level. So that's one thing that I will be looking for, is do any of the big boys warn? So Amazon, Microsoft, right? Do any of those kind of warn us that negativity is coming, right? That's the longer outlook that I'd be paying attention to, guys.
I do see a couple bright spots, and you mentioned ANF. It's interesting because a couple of the bright spots I'm seeing today. Target is up. It might give it up. We might see a similar shape as we saw Tesla from the pre-market. But
I'm gonna turn to the swing trading. It looks a lot better.
Yeah.
What?
Doesn't that look a lot better?
Yeah. There you go.
I use that on my own stream, Crunchy Crayons on Rumble. But I had one of the thumbnails I did was it was just a massive, I forget what day the sell off was, but that scene from Star Wars where the droids are in the escape pod. They're like, it doesn't look as bad from out here, and no, it looked just as bad that day. But yeah, I'm seeing that. So Dollar Tree's down a bunch from the earnings, but they have a little catch here. They seem to keep trying to push up. Disney was up, although now it's, as I say this, a lot of these things that were up are headed down.
Do I go short it now, Tim? You said it was up.
Actually, I mean, it looks like it might be a right.
I know you're
right here,
probably like me, right? When I mention a name, I'm like, oh man, and now it's gonna get destroyed.
It's the Jim Kramer effect.
Yes, it happens to us all, traders. It happens to us all, man. This is why sometimes, especially like if I'm in a penny stock in the morning, I'm like, should I post it? Should I post it? Because every time I post it, it feels like it's just a stuff in your face kind of move. But we'll see what happens here, guys. At least on the swing trade, things are looking a lot better, right? I closed at Macy's today. Macy's,
we don't have SGIM on Trade the Pool. You're gonna have to do that inverse Jim yourself if you want to inverse Kramer. But...
Oh, trust me, man. I wanted to do it plenty of times.
They took every one of Jim Kramer's recommendations, put it in, and said, "Okay, we're gonna do his recommendations." They lost.
The thing is that Tuttle took it down.
They closed those ETFs.
Tuttle took it down. I know Tuttle. I could bring him on, guys. How about we bring him on next week?
Bring
him on.
Do it.
You guys want Tuttle on? I'll bring Tuttle on next week, guys. I could literally hit him up in his inbox tomorrow, right? So I've talked to the guy. Actually, we kind of talked about the SGIM in person in pre-market prep and Benzinga's pre-market prep as the idea really kind of established itself. We even talked about it in the pre-show. I was like, yeah, dude, why not? But then Kramer went on a run. He went on a good run, man. And that SGIM just got wiped out. So that's how it goes.
Yeah. LGIM is gone too, though, right?
Yeah. And then he left that one for a little bit because it was doing well, and then he just took it off. But he's the one that has SARK. You guys hear me mention SARK all the time. Of course, that's the inverse Cathie Wood name. I even talked about that earlier in the week, how that was a potential for a swing trade. Look at the action on this right now. Look at that. Look at that. That's Sark. That's Sarkin, baby. That thing's Sarkin. This looks like a good swing trade. So for me now on this one, I'd have to swing $2. So I like to usually swing about $1. I'll be honest. Like $1, it just makes things very easy to think in my mind, right? Like how much am I really risking? But in this case, it's already up towards 33. So I'd have to look for either pull back to 32 to swing this or play it here. And a lot of this is just to play ARKK to the downside, right? And so you see ARKK to the downside. You could also do this in the approach of, okay, well, if that's what's going up, right? Well, I want to see what's coming down, what's getting dragged. Look at this path today. Look at this thing, man. This is why I talked about how it was a Cathie favorite this morning. The numbers were good. Look what happened. Dude, this thing was at $14. It's now down to 12. The numbers were decent. It's down 13, 14%. Just be careful with those AI names, guys.
The thing is, the reality is every time you say something, it may or may not be true. And so it all comes back to your risk management, right? Like
100%.
It doesn't
100%.
Matter. You're gonna be right and you're gonna be wrong, but you've got to be right on your risk.
Look at the wicks or tricks on this path. Watch. This is what happens to a lot of traders. I'll show you. So they see the pre-market setup, right? And this is why we talk about it, right, guys? Because this is how it happens, right? So pre-market setup. Okay. Nice little flag trending pattern here, right? I'm going to look for a breakout above this trend line towards the 1395s, right? Start moving towards the open. Boom. You get an opening move. It first goes down and then comes right back up through that 14. Look how that 14 was so short-lived. It went to 1406. Then the next candle is already back down to 13. That's how you get that wicks are tricks, man. Those wicks are tricks. The only way you get around that is by being small-sized. That's the only way you get around that. If not, you get washed. That's just what happens, guys. Even if you were short on this name, it goes back through that 14 and you start feeling the pressure. You get out, you see it back at 13. And the next minute, really frustrated as that happens, right? So I think that one major thing that we can learn today is the one thing that I talked about often with Soxel that I was starting to do a really good improvement on, guys. So it all comes back to lessons always. What have I been working on? Staying small and getting bigger into the green. Today I got bigger and it quickly went red and I didn't react, right? That was the situation. There was a second there where I could have reacted and cut it, right? It's okay to add into the green because it was at the green at the moment, but then it quickly dropped back below average pricing. That was the signal that I needed to get out and keep improving on that habit. That's where I think a lot of traders just can't like completely get around it, right? There's a habit that's killing them. What is that habit? Find that habit and start to turn it, right? Start to turn it.
There's no way you're going to find that habit if you're not journaling.
And 1,000%, Scott.
Because
1,000%.
you will say, no, I got that mastered. But then you go back and you look at your journal, you go, nope, I ain't got
That's it.
this.
That's the habit. And you see it in the numbers. The numbers will tell you it. And the numbers will also tell you when you're starting to get out of it, right? And so I'm doing really well, right? And now take a hit. What do? You don't focus on the hit, because that's easily how you just ruin your confidence, right? You focus on what was doing well for you. Don't focus so much on what was doing bad for you. Know that that's the habit that you want to cut, and then come back on, let's say, Monday. And the number one thing that I'll be thinking is not to be green, but not to commit to that bad habit. That's what will help me on Monday, guys. All right, guys, it's what do we got here? 10:39, almost 10:40. What am I seeing out there in the market right now? Pretty much a slowdown. It's just a slow bleed leak right now. Is that what you guys are seeing?
You know, I'm still bearish on the market. Market structure's still down.
Yeah,
I think it's going to continue down. I don't know how much further.
We're down to 452 now on the Qs. That's a pretty good hit there. You know how you can tell also, look at the, I have like daily Bollinger Bands. Look how you're going to the lower end of the Bollinger Band. That tells you more and more. You're going to a standard deviation low. So it just tells you more that momentum push to the downset. And it's just a leak out type of day. And these are the days where it's hard to stay in a position, right? Like say you're short. You're just seeing the
you want to
green.
Take profits.
Yeah, you're seeing the like, green. Like this ANF.
I'm up 150 right now, and I'm like, I want to take my profits. But I'm like, it's probably going to go further, and there it goes. I'm at 160 now.
Yeah, I have a position short on this ANF, and I'm thinking the same thing, Scott. I'm sure a lot of people are thinking that, right? But this is when I tell you that you got to let the market do the work for you, right? And this is why I sometimes step away from the screen. And I'll set a stop that I don't expect to hit. Like let's say for ANF, if I'm in at 139.04 and it's at 132, I don't think it's getting back to 139 any second now. So I can just set a stop at 139 or maybe 138 and go elsewhere. This is where I feel like a lot of traders don't do this. They focus on every tick by tick and their emotions just lead them to taking the profit.
Yeah, and that gives you a chance too to, a chance to get away from the screen is important too, just to keep your mental game sharp. Like if you're sitting there just staring at the candles,
you get tired, man.
Yep.
You get tired, right, Tim? Like there's no way you can look at every tick by tick from 8 to 4 p.m. and still be sharp. It's just not going to happen.
I was going to say I can, but I can't remain sharp. And
that's
and
the truth.
If you back test, then I can look at a 15-minute candle and I'll be fine, right? Instead, because for so long I've been with the 1 minute, and I'm like, oh, is it gonna go? Oh, it might reverse. Oh, the market structure on the 1 minute. And if I
your time frames
because I back tested, and I'm like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. This is what traditionally has happened. I'm okay looking at a 15-minute candle on the video right now, right?
Yeah,
and it's like, it's doing me well.
One of the things that I think really works.
Got to hop off. Just to get a few things ready for this afternoon. But hop on the Discord. We're going to continue. If you're enjoying this, you can join in. We'll do our group trading starting 1 p.m. and pretty much the rest of the afternoon. So come on and join us.
It's good to see you, Tim.
We'll throw it up one more time here in the chat. We'll try to give you guys a Discord link just in case anybody out there doesn't have it. But go join Tim, guys. Go join Scott like always. Scott, you going to stick around here towards the end for me?
Yeah, I'll stick around for the last 20 minutes here.
Scott's watching that trade, baby. Let's go. Tim, we'll see you, my friend. It's always good to see you.
Right.
Have a great weekend. Take care, my friend. All right, let's keep going. We'll start to wrap things up here in just a second, but it hasn't been, hasn't been a bad day, just a bloody day. For me, it's been a bad day, but hey, that doesn't mean it's not a bad day for you guys out there.
I'm up 175.
And that's how trading can be.
That is great, right? Like,
yeah. One thing I'll just tell myself is on the swing trade, you made a $600 trade almost. So, we'll keep working, right? I mean, that's all it is, guys. And one thing is, like always, is that the number one thing that I feel like traders need to work on is also just your ability to make decisions, right? Because the truth is that's what happens, right? And
hey,
another
Mitch,
thing,
I make lots of decisions. They're just not always good ones.
Yeah, but that's how life is, right? I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be that you're like, oh well, I'll cut the grass tomorrow, and then tomorrow it rains. Right? And then you can't cut the grass, right? Those are decisions that we make, guys. I mean, as traders, the number one thing you want to be working is decision-making skills, right? Decision-making skills, whichever way that is taking an assessment, taking a trade, executing, and then sticking to a system. At the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. How do you get it to success? Is you take data, you find an edge that works, and then you go and work on that decision-making skills to improve your execution. That's to keep it like in a framework, right? And I think that's what traders need to be thinking about when they're losing. When they're losing, instead, they're worried about them losing instead of worrying about, is my framework correct to get to success? That's all we need to do. And it's not about the goals that get us to success. We can all have 2,000, 10,000, green goals for the day, but goals don't get us to success. Habits with good systems get us to success, right? So you guys hear big preaching today by Scott and I, because I'm going to call it preaching, because we want you guys out there to really step up in your trading. That's why I do this. We're
preaching to ourselves too.
And that's the accountability factor, Scott, that I love. So there's nothing more than nothing better in life than having accountability. That's a big reason why I enjoy doing live streams and showing you guys my trading, showing you guys the filled orders, not hiding. Because if I hide from that, I'm hiding from my own abilities and I'm not improving. Let's make improvements. Let's not be frustrated about how we made a mistake yesterday or like on Monday, right? That I shorted the VIXI when I wanted to go long the VIXI, right?
Never done that before.
You can easily just drive your brain to the trash. But instead, I said, you know what? You made a right trade. You ran into finally that down wave. And I talk about that trading is always waves, just like your equity wave, right? Control that down wave. Get yourself back into that up wave. The up waves are where we ride that equity higher. Then we're always going to take a hit. That's why Scott said it. No one's 100%. You're going to take a hit. When you take that hit, slow things down. Get back to your mentality that got you there in the first place, right? It's not about trying to make it back in one swing. We'll be back next week. We'll start battling back. It's not always going to be green weeks too. And the key is thinking it in more of a collection. Weeks turn into months, months turn into years, guys. Don't think about things so much in the day, because what happens is like my mentality, right? Today, right? Easily you get to the trash mentality, right? You're like, well, I'm down big, right? It's a bad day. No, the truth is that's how trading is going to go. You're going to lose. So the easier that you get and the better that you get at losing at first, that's how you start making the moves to the upside.
Hey, if you'll go ahead, talking about losing streaks, go ahead. If you'll share that screen, let me zoom this in a bit. But if you'll notice here,
invite invalid on the Discord. I'll get another one for you.
5 days in a row where you're losing $200. But you know what? You still got funded twice in this 2 month or 3 month period.
Yeah.
See, I mean, that's brutal. 200, 200, 200, 200, 200. And then you had a $900 day with the same strategy. Boom. And you're back in and you were $50 short of being funded. And then you go again, and there's another day, another funded right there. 30. Yeah. Well, not quite, but there you go. Then you're funded again. So you're going to have those runs where it's just brutal. You just got to make sure that you're back testing, make sure you're in the same market as your back test. Are you ranging? Are you in a run, up or down? And then go ahead and then you can weather those storms because you have the data that says, okay, 5-day losing streaks happen, but you know what? My risk is appropriate to continue to win.
All right, looks like that Discord linked work, and I love the conversation today, Scott. It was great to have you on the show, man. I really enjoyed it. I love the approach that you're taking, and always just between you and I, like always, man, if you want to ever talk about trading, the door is open to you right here. We can always hop on, talk about trading, talk about journaling. Part talking about how he doesn't have the time to jump in because it's midnight when your kind of journaling is going on. Well, just reach out to Scott. You can always find a way to kind of get to the point where you guys can talk some trading. One thing I can clearly see here is that Scott isn't afraid of talking about trading. So if you want to reach out to him, definitely reach out to him. He enjoys it.
I do. I love talking about trading. I love learning from other people.
Yeah.
But I also love doing my own analysis. Like that's where I learn. And coming on the show, I did some more research and I learned a ton just by diving in, looking at the numbers, making sure what I was going to say was accurate, and having some data to back it up. And that's, to me, that's important. It was just a tremendous opportunity. So I appreciate it. And I'll take you up again.
Yeah, love to hear it, Scott. And just as someone that has taken the time also to done the research and learning and still working on my CMT, but that just tells me more and more that I've done the books, right? I have finance and UCF, done complex derivatives courses, things that are crazy and not needed. But that just tells me more and more. I can tell you that you're on the right track, Scott. And that's all that a lot of us need to hear, right? Are we on the right track? And if we are, then we just need to continue through the journey. Like I talk about it, trading is a journey. It's not a 1-year transition. You're a great trader and you're always going to be a great trader. No, that's not the way it works. And that's why I talk about how data moves in and out, strategies move in and out, and why you want to have multiple tools in your tool belt, right? A lot of traders that have one strategy, the hardest thing going to be is to know when that strategy is not working and to not trade it, right? Because what happens is they'll trade it too much when it's not working and they'll blow through the money, right? Yep. So all things to think about, right? So I think that's why I have, and pay attention a lot to different industries and sectors, because the truth is that at least gives me another area to look at when things aren't working in those different sectors, right? We'll see what happens today. It was definitely a shakeup type of day, I think, because the numbers that came in with the jobs number weren't bad, but they didn't care. And I think they're starting to see recession concerns really play into the market. And I think that that's what you're seeing, is that a lot of people are thinking, well, if we're going to have recession concerns and if we're going to see that downside action, well, then you know what? It doesn't even matter what we're going to get here in the jobs number. They expect the jobs numbers to eventually get worse and worse over time. VIX now towards 1376. So we started the week and that was down down by 11s, right? And so throughout the week, it was still turned to the bullish side. But at the end of the day, the downside and the uncertainty is growing in the market, not actually getting smaller. So today I thought would be one of those days where you could flip that uncertainty. It wasn't the day that you can flip it. It actually kept it going. So now it's going to be even more prudent. Will traders even have the tenacity to go long throughout the weekend, right? I wanted to use another word, but the truth is that that's the truth, right? And I think that you'll run into some traders that will take a long and try to sell it on Monday, right, to see if we get a bounce back. But the concern will be there, and the uncertainty will be at its highest, right? So we'll see what happens there as the VIX goes higher, and you could have been scalping the VIXy to the upside. I think one of the best signs today was that washout sign of the 107 that I talked about, the price action on NVIDIA. That's really when we started to get the flip. The Qs were near the top and then NVIDIA just started to wash. That was one of my signs that when I saw that 107 give up, that should have been the sign to start flipping back to that red mentality, right? We'll see what happens there. Scott, any last words before we get out of here?
No, just come join me, and reach out to me on Discord. I am happy to talk, especially during the trading day. Love it. But come join me on the journaling. I'll send out a friend request. You can accept it or ignore it. But I'm happy to talk to and discuss any and all things trading related, investment related. I'm fairly focused on funding my account, and so I don't do any kind of derivative trading. I'm not doing any kind of anything else. This is my sole focus. I plan to get traded here in the next month or two. But I've been saying that, 13 accounts. I thought I'd come in here and I'd be done and funded. I'm like, oh, I got a master's in finance. But I'll tell you what, trading is different than anything you've ever done. And it's harder than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm not, I love it. Like, this is my dream job, right? And I'm fortunate to be in a position where I can focus on it and do it. And I think I will. And so reach out to me. Love to talk, love to chat, love to see your successes, also love to see your failures, and just gain a better understanding and also get to know you guys. So if you'll show my screen real quick, I do have I'm going to take, 45 of the 60 shares off right here towards the bottom of the range.
Celebrate,
I think it's going to get it. I'm going to, if it reaches that, I'll go ahead and take it off. If it reverses, I'm going to take a 0, and I'm okay with that. But then I'll just, once this goes, I'm just going to pick an appropriate spot to put a stop loss, or I guess it'd be a take profit. I'm not going to do a stop loss, but I'll take some profit no matter what. But see what happens. See if it decides to run all the way down, down to that 96 with that third left on or that quarter left on. So that's where I'm at with my trades. I think we're going to hit it in the next little bit, but we'll see. And that'll be a nice 200 plus gain for the day, which is great for me. I've struggled to let my runners run, and then doing this research, I'm like, oh, that's a strategy. And I didn't know, because we were in this range up here where I'm, on the hourly, where I thought, oh yeah, in this green box here, I'm like, I don't know, it might range for a day or a couple more days, but it looks like it's breaking to the downside. And, if we look at the 1 hour candle, we'll see where that ends up closing, but it's looking, it might reverse the bottom of the range today, but we've blown past that. And if we close down below here, baby, I'll let those run.
Yeah, and you got to. One of the things is letting those runners run is what really kind of separates you. And that's why I do so great in the swing trading, guys, because that's what you can do a lot more in swing trading than day trading. Because day trading, at some point, you're going to probably get what's called the mean reversion trade, where the trade comes back some, right, for the day. At some point, you got to sell into strength or sell into the weakness. Let's say in this case, it would be Scott selling into the weakness. That's what I believe, right? Because the truth is at some point you got to determine what's a take profit area where if you got it today, you won't be looking back and be mad that it went further. So like for me in the VIXI, that's what's helped me throughout the week. There's certain times where the VIXIs, let's say I take in like 1368 and it's gone to like 1375 or 1380s. Can't be mad about not getting that last 20 cents. Find some place where it's over your risk to return. So if my risk to return and the profit to loss ratio that I'm looking at is 3-1, once I get past 3 and I'm going into 4 and 5, that gives me such an advantage on the next couple of trades if I can take the profit there. So thinking about that, if I can get towards 5 or 6-1 return, I should just take it. Because what is that going to do is the next trade, I could lose and probably still be in the green from that prior trade, right? And so keep that mentality in mind, right? So if you're 3-1, you start to show up 5-1, 6-1, that's double your normal reward. There's no problem with taking that off and running. That's what I've learned it from the data, man. And the reason why you're selling into the strength of the move, and a lot of times what happens is that we'll also watch it. And I did it today with the penny stock, right? The Ben F, I talked about it, how I stayed in it. And even though it popped up towards $2, was looking like it was going towards 3 or whatever. And I just got a little greedy there. Find what works for you. What's the profit to loss ratio? Look at your results and see if your actual ratio matches the results. So data driven, guys. I'm telling you, when you look back and you see that your approach matches your results, that's when you're starting to turn, baby.
And doing the data, the days that it runs is when you make your money. And so and it doesn't run every day, but that's when you make your money. Looking at the data, that's when you make the money. So you have to give yourself the opportunity by cutting your losses short. Yeah. And letting and being in a position where you can let it run. Yeah. And so anyway, we're out of time. We got 2 minutes left. It's been a delight being on the show with you, and love what you're doing. Love your energy. I love Trade the Pool. They've been the best thing for me. This is just an opportunity that came at the right time. Yeah, great trade, guys. And always keeping the mentality of also maybe looking into sectors. One of the areas that I've been looking for weakness and because of the good retail numbers that we got, we started to see some retail names start to bounce back, but look how they're coming down now. One area like, let's say Gap, right? I made the money in Macy's, but I was looking at Gap to short also. Look how that's coming down here. Look how the apparels are starting to drop, right? Urban was one that I was looking at, starting to drop down back to the low, right? A&F is one that I'm still in on the swing trade. That's starting to drop. AEO starting to drop, right? If we can find trends like this also helps. Because like I talk about it, if I'm in an industry where 20 of the names or 18 of those 20 of the names are green, guess what? It's just going to increase the probability of me getting in the right favor, right? So different approach, more in the industries and sectors. We're going to keep learning here on Trade the Pool. That's what we're about here, guys. And the number one thing that I'm for is to try to pay it forward for you guys, right? I can't pay it forward for myself. I can't make the journey happen for myself quicker than it already is. I already went through the journey. But you guys out there, you can keep bending that learning by finding guys like Scott and I that are trying to truly find and master this game. Are we acting like we are the masters? No, but we are trying to continue on that path, right? Be a professional, approach this the right way, guys, and we wish you guys the best. Scott, have a good one, my friend. Take care, enjoy your weekend, and be safe out there, traders. Hey, too. Thanks, Mitch. Right, have a great day.
See you guys next time. Smash it back. We'll be back on Monday. Red week for me? I'll bounce back. Let's get after it.